Hello. What's up? Gonna be doing another try hard day today. Hopefully we don't get absolutely wrecked. Do we have enough signups for this tournament? Seems like we have just enough. 8 signups. Good enough for me. Hope you guys are doing well. Oh boy! So the goal today is to sweat lord it up. Play to the best of our capabilities. And then go from there. Weirdly, I've been noticing fewer signups for Warhammer lately. Anyone know what's happening? Even Turin, his tournament last night, didn't have as many as he usually gets. Which, by the way, I did win with High Elves. Let me just throw that in there. We did get a High Elf win. Ego boosted. Feeling great. Linz, round 1. Alright. Let's see here. Goblins. There will only be 3 rounds today. It's low signups. Alright. So we're getting some Martin first. Yo yo. Here we go. Let's give him the invite. Let's give him the pick and ban. But yeah, not sure what's going on. Has it just been too long since the DLC? You're abroad. Is everyone abroad? It's the middle of the week. I don't know. Yesterday, well, I guess Turin's tournament last night was pretty late. These trends matter to me a lot, though. It kind of relate to my livelihood. Deep summer. Hey, what's up, Biofoot? Maybe, I don't know. Seems like a sudden drop off in tournament signups. Noraver. What's up? What's up, GP? What's up? All that. Waiting for Martin. We're waiting for Martin. Bonjour. But yeah, I might cast the High Elf games that I played the other day. Look at this. High Elf victories abound. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 High Elf games. This one was insane. This one was a bonkers, man. Blame the fishmen for the tournament drop off. Yo, if they release fishmen, Warhammer into the stratosphere for sure. Alright, come on, Martin. Face me, brother. Message back, please. Congrats on your win yesterday. Thank you. Yo, fishing would be so hype. Ocean settlements. Aquatics revamp. I don't know what else. They'll have non-rotting Prometheans. They'll just have normal Prometheans. They'll have I don't know. Trident infantry. What else? I can't think of much. Port settlement raiding. Just like the Vampire Coast. Playing high elves today? We'll see. Okay, there's Martin. He showed up. Yo, yeah, we actually got sword masters to work. That was pretty sick. That was quite glorious. Loch Ness monster? Oh, hell yeah. It'd be on lane though, which would kind of be weird. We'll get more sea battles on land. They need their own land ship. They need land monsters. Will we see a Slayer Max? Probably not today with Tryharding. Oh, jeez, something is reflecting the sun through my window. Yeah, Rangers are 600. They, honestly, since they're kind of like Dryads, they could cost like 550 and probably be fine. Yo, what is that reflecting outside? There's something really reflective on someone's roof. Interesting. All right, how do I deal with it? Whatever, I'll just wait for the sun to move. Plan B. All right, so I want to try out this today. Maybe we can get some armor. Love me some 30 armor Dryads. I guess Dryads, oh dang, you took Empire. Crap, I forgot he likes Empire. Warriors of Chaos and Empire. What, am I supposed to pick dwarves? Legitimately would not be the worst to play dwarves versus Empire. What are the odds that he knows how to play that anyways? Greenskins. Alright, sick. I got Slanesh Norska. So let's see here. Yeah, he's Warriors of Chaos, Empire, Greenskins. I'm Slanesh Norska dwarves. If I ban his Greenskins first, he bans the dwarves! How dare he? Alright, yeah, then I get the consolation prize of playing versus Warriors of Chaos. I'll take it. No Demons of Chaos. Yeah, Greenskins... Well, I don't have Greenskins into his Empire. And he picked Empire, so I couldn't pick him. But between Slanesh and Norska, Warriors of Chaos should go down pretty hard. Norska and Warriors of Chaos are very similar. And he targets Slanesh, which means it's gonna be good old Marauder Horseman shenanigans. I'll take it. Decrepit Moor, Imperial Road, Imperial Ambush. All the Imperial maps. I'll ban Ambush? Nah. Could ban Imperial Road. Which one's Imperial Road? It's this one. I'll ban Imperial Road. And thank you very much. It's Pandy for the tier 1 sub. Thank you, thank you. Monkey men on horses, yep. Alright, so let's get the Karavdir armor blocker going. This time we won't do them dirty. We'll get it right. What do you think of the Mist Stalkers? I think they're not bad. In fact, Fimir in general have proven themselves to be quite powerful. They got that armor sundering. They also had a lot of price reductions over the years. He wants to play Imperial Ambush, alright. Very resistant to all things ranged. As long as their leadership is high, they have a 50% missile resist. Insane. Is it enough to ward off 6 skirmishers? That's... I'm a little more wary about. But yeah, you could go for Hellstriders, the works. Let's see, how do we want to do this? Warriors of Chaos. I know Throg is pretty meta. Fimir Maxon. I would love to Fimir Max. We definitely need at least a couple Skin Wolves to deal with his Hellstriders. Hellstriders are a big pain. Probably want at least one of these to make sure we got single entities. Caster-wise, what magic is good nowadays? Against Warriors of Chaos. Do we want Melkoths or Burning Head? I think the answer is obvious. Answer is so obvious. So obvious. Yeah, then I guess I'll take one of these dudes, maybe? Norska. Oh, actually, this is not the worst. Alright, there we go. Yeah, I feel like Norska's pretty good. A lot of people have been playing them lately. Oh yeah, a lot of people have been going for Ice Wolf Chariots. I forgot about that. How do you guys feel about Ice Wolf Chariots? Yay or nay? I feel like Ice Wolf Chariots are sick if you can actually micro. Can I actually micro though? I don't know, man. Not exactly the best at micro. For Chariots specifically. But yeah, let's see how this goes. Perfect spend. Yay for Chariots. They're quite crazy when it comes to clearing out infantry. Yeah, the Ice Wolf Chariots have insane speed and mass. They seem bugged. Yo, so I heard about that. Someone mentioned it on a Turn stream, I think. What's bugged about the Chariots? Someone said weird hitboxes. Do they just not get hit very often or something? Are they significantly tankier than they should be? I know they got that slow, which is pretty hype. Should get the practice in then. Sounds good. Alright, so Martinus's Empire play. Here we go. Someone said hitbox against cavalry. Huh. Very interesting. Anyways, you guys will love this. It's the Fimir Max. So we got our Rampager. Got a little bit of Rampage going on. Got a bunch of Fimir. It's yeah, it's melee build. So all the anti-infantry Fimir, Warriors of Chaos, tend to rely pretty heavily on that. Then we got our Melkoths. And if he has a bunch of skirmishers, we're gonna bring in the hard anti-kite. But in theory, these guys are pretty skirmish resistant, having 50% missile resist. In theory, they don't take very much damage. Very high armor. He would need axe throwers specifically. I can buy time using my javelins. Soul of Damnation. I think I can rush that. One of the great things about this build is that it is very well equipped to give that rush beatdown strategy going. I just gotta figure out how I want to do this. There's Archie. With Flaming Sword. Flaming Sword Archie. What is this guy? What are you doing, son? He has an Exalted Hero of Tzeentch. A lot of Forsaken. The question is, do I really want to play in his backfield? I gotta assess how fighty his army is. It's actually decently fighty, right? So you gotta be a little careful here. That exalted boy over there is gonna be a little bit of a problem. But we got our counter single entities to deal with that. Very interesting. So I think what we do is... Yeah, you see those halberds over there? I'm just gonna ignore them, man. I don't need to fight no halberds. I can just go for his face. Bring in the dogs. We'll wait on our skin wolves for when for a little bit later. First shot comes in. Not a lot of deeps. Good to see. But yeah, skin wolves. I don't gotta worry about them too much. I don't really need them right now. Still hammering into those marauders. I know he doesn't really have any spells that'll do well against me here. I can start Malkotzing that warrior halberd unit. We're gonna get another one of these. Another one of these doggos. So I just want to get the fight started as fast as possible. I want to kill this this here cannon. Punish him for his transgressions against me. Throg should be able to get a pretty nasty breath attack there. And this frontline engagement should go pretty well for me. Well, he's playing very defensively here. You know what? Screw it. I don't want this. He doesn't actually have that much pushing power or forcing power outside of the cannon. So I can just deny that engagement. Say, you know what? Screw it. You're kind of out of position to defend your own point. I'm going to go for that instead. I'm going to go for that instead. He's summoned in like pure infantry almost. There you go. Chaos Knights of Khorne. I want to start working them nice and early here. Very important. Because they are rather expensive. Manticore can start prancing around. Gonna shoot these guys. There's a flaming sword. The dread flaming sword. Oh my gosh. Alright, time to get those armored skin wolves in. Honestly, I don't have to fear flaming sword that much. Alright. The cannon and most of his infantry can't really participate too easily here. They're kind of stuck. Gonna get a pretty solid sandwich over here. 2. Unfortunately, he's gonna get a pretty brutal charge on me. A little unfortunate. But otherwise, looks like his infantry's about to tear out. I guess Archaon's doing pretty well there, though. But can I kill his Chaos Knights? Those are the big boys that we want to take out as soon as possible. Just get them routed. Throggy's doing great. Fimir are doing fine. Unfortunately, I don't really have like a Pit of Shades or something I can chuck out. But it appears that this fight's going not bad. And I should be able to capture my first point. Though we got to be a little careful. Many of my doggos having a bit of a rough time here. His Chaos Knights at least are pretty brutalized. And here comes the beatdown on Archie. So he chucks out a flaming sword. That's gonna not really help him that much because Throg is already weak to his fire damage. But the single entity fight, I'm a little worried. Chaos Knights of Khorne coming on in though. Certainly a lot of infantry here. Fimir are putting in the work though. We've managed to get them not too caught up on halberds, and he even friendly fires himself. Pretty brutal. There go my doggos. Routing off. He chucks out another flaming sword. Now, is it doing anything? Is it helping Archaon kill Throg? Call me slightly skeptical, but I don't think it is. I don't think it is doing that much. Although usually it would do very well against stuff like skin wolves. In this case, the skin wolves do have to disengage. The Fimir, though, are just grinding. Fimir don't give a crap. They're doing great. Given that I just summoned Hellstriders here, I should be able to get a little bit of work in on his backfield. Nope, looks like he does get a Marauder Great Weapon summon. Look at this guy. Lots of summons here. Just keeping him safe. The double cap is still very nice for us, though. And of course, the Berserkers are really good, but I'm starting to run out of units here, right? We're starting to run out of units ever so slightly. Manticore goes down. Rip. It seems like things are getting a little sus. Although, the Berserkers are certainly doing fine. Berserkers are certainly doing fine. There's another Flaming Sword. Still feel like a Burning Head would have been way better versus these Berserkers, but what do I know? Let's get another Skin Wolf in here. And the Berserker Tide cannot be stopped. One of the great advantages we have here is that Archaon is kind of in a pickle. He doesn't really have a lot of single entity support. He's a little exposed. If we kill him here, he's done for, man. Ooh, nasty hit. Yeah, if we can just kill him, he's dead. Great thing about these Fimir, by the way, they reduce the armor of these guys, which is brutal. Absolutely brutal to deal with. Because my Berserkers are just doing almost full damage to all his armor. And as you can see, it's working out pretty well. Time for another Manticore. This is the Bully Archaon Manticore. And I think we won this. Norska Supremacy, man. Dude, these Berserkers just chopped up. I'm also really surprised at how well the Fimir did. That was pretty nice. Yeah, I kind of just ignored the Hell Cannon. It actually didn't pay for itself. Value-wise, I'm sure it got a lot of leadership breaks, which was good. But, dang, man. Yeah, I think just confidently taking the fight and not overextending worked out pretty well in our favor. Fimir didn't do that much value, though. They were helping the Berserkers, which also didn't do that much. I feel like if he had Burning Head, he would have won, though. Like, seriously, if he had Burning Head, he could have just roasted all my Marauders. It was a very risky play to have this many Marauders. Redeem 50 twats, thank you. I'll get to it. Manticore is great. Yeah, I'm honestly, I don't know. Look at that, 700 value, 650. Did his Chaos Knights do anything? Nope. Yeah, no, don't run just Flaming Sword. It doesn't cook. It doesn't cook. He could have won, like, easily. He only brought Flaming Sword. That was the only thing he brought. What a mad lad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hell Cannon killed a bunch of trash like the Hunters. He kind of needed to kill the Hunters, though. Otherwise, he would have gotten shot to death. If he had it, would you have Blob fought? I think, I kind of had to, right? Otherwise, I'd just get shot by the Hell Cannon the whole game. At most, I'd be able to get a double cap against them. In general, if I'm just sitting there the whole game getting shot at by the Hell Cannon, it's going to be a down trade. I have a bounty, which is beating me with Flaming Sword. Well, I'll happily take the wins. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Yeah, Fimir and the Tryharding build. Dude, they're so much cheaper now. They used to be like 1,300. Oh, wait, no, these ones are still 1,300. How much did these cost before? Were they 1,200? Regardless, 1150 feels real cheap for what they bring to the table. I'm also really liking manticores again. Just as a cheap source of terror that does a good amount of damage. They used to cost $12.50 for the normals and $13.50 for great weapons. But yeah, you really need like a specific tool to take care of these guys. Good to see, good to see. They're like Spawn of Tzeentch except with armor. True. Very true, jeez. I do have to get better with my Marauder Ice Wolf chariot control though. Still. Dang, a 95 speed chariot. That's crazy. How do they compare to like... Yo, that's insane. Marauder Ice Wolf chariots are faster than Tyraniot chariots. How is that possible? How did Norska invent the fastest chariot in the game? Let's see here. How do they compare to Slaanesh chariots? Okay, yeah, they're 5 speeds slower than Slaanesh chariots. They're faster than armored Slaanesh chariots. How is that possible? Jeez, man. No wonder they're popular. Yeah, they're just insanely fast. Sort the Ek put in the research hours. Yo, that's crazy, man. They all got hidden marks of Slaanesh, surely. Is that actually the fastest chariot in the game? Outside of the Slaanesh specific ones? Like, what's a Scourge Runner chariot at? 84 speed. Holy crap. Yeah, no. Norscan chariot supremacy. I don't even know what happened. I don't think they got changed that much outside of their mass increase a while ago. The wolves. Oh, yeah, it's the same speed as the Norscan ice wolves. That's crazy, though. The wolves are unhindered by being on a chariot. Unlike literally every other chariot. Black Coach. Vampire count, Black Coach is significantly slower. Significantly slower. Black Coach would murder to get 95 speed. Yeah, yo, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. Imagine having a chariot faster than Wood Elf cavalry. Oh my gosh. No wonder. No wonder. I should just play Norska. Where are they at? I should play Norska. And then I should get the... I should go for the chariots, right? And then I should, like, Goljev on them. That way, they'll have 41 melee defense. Okay, Martin just said... He just messaged me. He said he forgot to check his spells. So it was not intentional to only bring Flaming Sword. Good to know. Greenskin wolf chariots. Ooh, ooh. Greenskins. Wolf chariots. 90 speed. They're 90 speed. Okay, what about the Teeth Robbers? Are the Teeth Robbers hidden OP? Wait a darn second. Hey, Greenskins have a 110 speed chariot? Dude, I gotta play Greenskins today. Dude, that's insane. What? Hey, give me a quick second. Give me 1 second, people. All right. Let's try some miners. Right, there we go. Greenskins. Dude, it's actually broken. Greenskin's OP. Sorry, just sending some emails. All right. Most OP chariot in the game. So they're fast. Somehow the greenskins have invented a chariot that is faster than Slanesh cavalry. Each one has 1,000 mass. But they kind of get stuck on infantry. They don't have the 2k mass that the Norskin chariots have. And they have so many entities, they just don't really control as well. So I guess that's why people don't run the T-Frobbers. 13 melee attack. Yeah. I guess they spec'd into only speed and that's it. I see. Though I will say, as a super annoying backline skirmisher, you could probably use these guys to just bully archers in the rear as greenskins and just play keep away forever. Because like against archers, they gotta be good, right? You're talking faster than Seekers of Slanesh, so like, what if it was like high elf archery action? It's a goblin trademark to be absolutely garbage. I wish they were like a little cheaper. Get them to near Skaven slave levels. Okay, let's take a look at this. How does this work?
More quatches, so you better fight proper.
Can you kite seekers with them? Technically, yes. Practically, maybe not, but let's see this. There's your 110 speed. Man, they just don't really have the impact damage without the mass, do they? It's not bad, like, they get there. As a disruption tool, they're disrupting. Are they really doing that much damage, though? It's kind of awkward, right? Yeah, they just don't really have, like, the charge animation or something. They're, like, not really pushing through. Seems pretty garbage. One day CA will increase their mass and suddenly they'll be OP, though. Mark my words, alright? It only takes a mild mass increase for this unit to become insane. Because I think that's the big difference between this and the Ice Wolf Chariot. Otherwise, they're quite similar. Oh, the charge bonus kind of sucks too, yeah. Huh. But yeah, this is just taking way too long to kill a couple archers. Alright, so they do suck. Though technically there is a faster chariot, we have learned. I have discovered. Stone ground stance. Wombo combo. Yeah, the charge bonus sucks. 38 charge bonus to the Norskin 76. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. They're less so a chariot, more just a bunch of very fast infantry, I guess. You look at their stat line there. I think their stat line gets beat by some infantry in this game. Yeah. They're they have as much charge bonus. Okay, technically, right? It's like you're bringing It's like you're bringing like 12 exalted demonettes on hyper speed. It's like you're bringing, oh, okay, no, there we go. Yeah, it's like you're bringing 12 Hellstriders. Yeah, it's kind of like you have 12 Hellstriders with slightly more mass and no soul hunters. They do have Strider though. Random question, would it be possible to play a campaign like this? You play a single player campaign, but for every battle, you have a person take over and play against you instead of the AI. You could set it up. Just do a multiplayer campaign, but there's no easy way to do it without just having someone on standby all the time. Slanesh is just worse Nurgle? You crazy, man. What's their range damage like? Not great. They have a missile damage of... Like, technically, as a skirmisher, they could probably get a little bit of damage in. They have 46 ammunition. Okay, let's see. You know what? Let's actually put it to the test, right? So let's say you have some silver helms here, right? And you know, they're just sitting around eating your arrows. They got no shields. Where the normal version stats, I dread to look. You know, greenskin goblin spears are not the worst. They're just worse Empire spears, but they're not the worst. Alright, how does this unit work as a skirmisher? As you can see, the damage output's not very fast. Technically, though, they are reasonably accurate. They can kill entities. And even against armor. They're getting the damage in, right? Okay, so let's see. How do they do against, like, 2 Hellstriders or something? Attack speed and jar. Taking forever to finish this game, as always. Alright, so let's say you're up against Slanesh, right? You got 2 Seekers. What are you looking at? You think resummon units should reset their build-up ability? I think resummon units, I think it's cool that they can keep their build-up ability, but I think unit resummons should get slightly more expensive each time you resummon them. It's a little silly when you have people summoning in like 12 of the same unit. I think it breaks the whole way that unit caps are supposed to work, you know? Dang, you know, this would almost actually look good if it wasn't for the fact that these guys have, what's it? Costs like 50% less. They did kill the Seekers first, though. You can't say they didn't. Look at that. T-Fob is OP. Yeah, this costs 650. This costs 400. All right, here we go. They used to do slightly more damage in wolf skirmishers before they got nerfed, huh? A lot better versus single entities. It's true, they have that accuracy. Spider chariot time? Dude, that'd be kind of hype. Spider chariot. We wait for the donation to get the greenskin chariot stream. Oh boy. What's the change to Fimir that made them so good now? It's just the cheaper now. They are cheaper. But yeah, I'll might play more. I might play more Norska today. Slanesh Norska Empire. Maybe we'll do like Empire Norska as my first two factions. That should cover a lot of bases. Also thinking I might play a campaign tomorrow. Maybe I do a little bit of campaign. Been a while. Give some people a break from the back-to-back-to-back tournaments. You're the Sword Masters? Dude, no one was expecting Sword Masters. Sword Masters is so hype. They did get buffed. Slightly. Their melee stats got very slightly buffed. But they were kind of perfect against that Nurgle build. There was really not a lot he could do. He kind of chopped up the Pestigors, the Forsaken, the Marauders. In fact, Nurgle doesn't really have that much to deal with them outside of like the big single entities or like monstrous units. But you're not going to want to run that against a kite build. And because I think Nurgle is very predispositioned to try and hard counter kite, they end up getting screwed. Round 2. We're up against Sven. Sven Spear. Yo, yo, what's up, buddy? Alright. Let's see what we can get done here. Let's see. Yeah, you might be able to just stream of corruption them down. They have 84 HP per entity, which is generally pretty low, all things considered. My opponent didn't really have an answer for them. In fact, Turin felt like Nurgle could have won that match. I would probably not take them in a super high stakes situation, but if they are unperturbed, it's not bad. He also did Fate of Buna, my poor Sisters of Avalorn. What would be an ideal Nurgle build against High Elf Kite? Probably just like loads of infantry, right? Armored warriors into the horizon. And just tank it up the whole time. Like, I thought he was going to spam 1,000,000 warriors. Shielded warriors, which is why I brought the Sword Masters. I didn't really expect like the Forsaken. Okay, Empire Norska against Ogre Kingdoms and Norska. So this is obviously a Slanesh pick. An elite Cav build. The most high elf mobility doesn't have the armor piercing. You can bring the lions though. The lions definitely help out a lot. I think I'm running 4 lines in basically every build. Alright, and picks Warriors of Chaos as his last. So, Ogre Kingdoms, Norska, Warriors of Chaos. Let's just get rid of the mirror first and foremost. He gets rid of Slanesh. Okay. So, would I rather play Empire versus Ogres or Warriors of Chaos? Because I think Norska will do well against both. Empire versus Ogres would actually be pretty interesting. I think with the cannons we do fine, but it's going to be fairly map dependent. And it seems like that is what my opponent has decided to go for. Alright. Arachnarok, Lair, Crystal Lake, Ban Lair. My opponent apparently not feeling very confident. We'll see. Holy crap. Holy crap.
It's been really relaxing watching you these past few weeks. You think you could give Elite to Army a try? Blackguard,
Sure.
Executioners, Dread Knights, Hydras.
Wait, yo, how much is that? Apparently it's a lot. Holy crap, man. What even is try? Try currency. Turkish lira. Thank you so much. Holy crap, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. Yeah, that's like $37 Canadian. Holy crap, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll add it to the list. If I don't play today, definitely I will do it next stream or next multiplayer stream. Elite Dark Elf build with Hydras. It's on the list, good sir. It is on the list. Now, we'll see if I can actually make it work, but... Yo, I'm down. Maybe I can face against Nurgle? Thank you so much. Try it. Alright. Let's see here. Ogre Kingdoms versus Empire. He wants to play on Hashut. This is like a Canaan. This is Canaan Central, right? I just gotta make sure I don't get rushed. As long as I don't get rushed, I should be relatively in the clear. I feel like this should be a really favored matchup for Empire too, but maybe I'm completely wrong. There's the whole lead belcher shenaniganry that I gotta be slightly wary of, but other than that, I think everything else is mostly fine. Oh yeah, Scourge Runners and Cold One Knights carried the Dark Elves, but we gotta go elite, man. Blackguard, Executioners, Cold One Dread Knights, and Hydras. Scourge Runners ain't elite enough for that. I'll see if I can get it in today, though. Maybe I can win in the semis with it. I'll need to make sure that it's actually a good matchup, however. Don't want to pay that much just to see me lose. Let's see here. So, Lord-wise, what we're looking at? Lord-wise versus Ogres. I almost want to run Franz. Just because he's a source of terror, but... I think Boris is just better, right? I think Boris is just outright better. But then what magic do I run? He's gonna have some big boy cavalry. Does Lord of Beast summon a Manticore? It does. It's pretty jokes. Yeah, ogres don't really have a lot of weaknesses to magic in general. Though I do like Lore of Manticores. It's solid. Dark Elf mobility is the one good thing about them. Well, actually, the melee infantry's surprisingly chonky, man. They kind of wreck shop anytime I see them. Isn't Net and Marcus amazing here? You do need some source of terror. You can't just have the Net and Marcus. Tattersoul Flagellants. Did they get buffed? Tatter Souls. Yeah, they got cheaper. And quite significantly so. I don't really have the money for them, though. I feel like as Empire, you just want to run Sigmar Sons and Tattersouls 24/7. Am I crazy for thinking that? Steam Tank is terror. It is, yes. Let's see here. Yo, it'd be so hilarious to just whip out a Luminarch and just snipe his lord. I would kind of love that. Or Royal Altar of Griffites is also terror. You know what? That's kind of hype. Okay. How much infantry do I need? Is this a matchup where huntsmen are actually good? It might be. How about a Empire Captain? No. See something to round out this build. Oh, you know, Pistoliers could be pretty hype. Or even Outriders. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. Piercing bolts. It's okay. Piercing bolts. Oh, crap. Wrong map. I picked the wrong map. Alright, he says it doesn't mind. Yeah, I accidentally picked this map. Whoopsie daisies. I guess it doesn't change that much. It's still a very wide, flat map. Been a while since I played on this one, though. Alright, so here's the rough idea, right? It's just, it's a raw man-tide. It's just a big old fat man-tide. With a million archers. And a million spears. I should be able to control the space fairly easily. Then we got our Manticore caster that I will desummon after he summons the 2 Manticores, and then we're good. And then I can use some Pistolier Outriders to control this space. Is he going Fat Man Tide? No. Only 11 units. But yeah, the reason we have these guys is because Noblars are fairly common. You don't want the Noblars to kill all your stuff. Ogre's pretty good at capturing. Gotta be careful. Powder guts, okay. So that tells me I probably just want to get a cannon over here. And then chill. And yes, that is a Luminarch of Hysh. Luminarch will bully his lord like no one's business. But actually fielding it will take a while. So I think the cannon makes a lot more sense. Is that a triple man-eater pistol? I think it is. Is that a Gorger summon? I think it is. In general, I should be able to control the space pretty well. Maybe I will just summon the Luminarch. It will one-shot Powder Gut entities. And it can kite decently well. Alright. Just to make sure that these Pistoliers don't get murdered. Oh. Barely didn't capture the point again. There we go. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave them on skirmish mode. It's kind of good enough for what I need here. And then he's going to try and advance towards my position. Getting a free pot shot on the Boris. A little rough. You generally want to advance with your forces when you're being rushed like this, because it gives you more dead zone between your front line and the million ogres barreling your way. That way you can distinguish what needs a killing. Manticore will go for the Lord Snipe right from the get-go. Then we get the Luminarch. And then we see what it can do. It might have a line of sight issue though. Looks like it will. Start off. At the very least, my front line should be able to win this. As the Pistoliers continue to run. Very nice. Does get a little bit of work in here though. We got some Saber Tusk pack coming on in. I had to catch out one of his man-eaters, so it ain't the worst. Front line's holding up pretty decently. Luminarch gets a shot off. Hits the Saber Tusks for quarter HP damage. Pretty nice. And I will have another Manticore summoned soon. However, we still must be a little wary, right? You see those birds coming in hot? They're gonna be slightly problematic. Luminarch at least getting some pretty sick pot shots in. Here come the Empire Knights to bail out the Lumi. Alright. And that should put me in a pretty nice position. There's the second Manticore incoming. I think my front line's just a little too good, right? Front line's just a little too chonky. With all these guys just fighting about, I think we're crushing it pretty well. Boris is doing great. There's a solid Knight charge. Take out the Saber Tusks. Yeah, and his birds just can't really win this. I think my front line was just a little too good. And now he's going to be running into issues with a possible Lord loss penalty. If all goes well, there we go. Oh, you know what I could do? I could use the Luminarch to finish off his Lord. Get the Luminarch firing. Dang it, there's a random hill here. Not the random hill. Come on. Now that his Lord's routed, it should be able to just target him down. This guy got a D-summon. Come on, you darn Luminarch. Fire. Yes. God dang it, hit a Maneater. I think the Luminarch shot is too horizontal for its own good, man. Jeez. All right, there we go. Let's get that shot in. There is no escape for his Lord. Only that. Gets one hit in. The Luminarch nails him. Come on, you darn Lumi. One more hit. And then that should be the end of his forces. And there we go. Goodbye, Ogre Lord. Alright. It's fine. We got there eventually. That's all that matters. No more Ogre Lord means that he's pretty screwed. He basically his build was just a rush, but he kind of just didn't really have anything to disrupt my range line. All these Maneater pistols didn't really do much, as I had no incentive to actually flank him. And that kind of screwed him over. This wizard is pretty interesting. If you just summon him in, you can pretty easily get 4 Manticore summons. I wonder if this is actually good or not. Just going for 4 Manticores. Here we go, GG. A solid match, showing that our Empire main tide is still very good. Empire versus Ogre Kingdoms. While we wait for the other matches to finish, I can go over some replays too. Oh, hell yeah, look at those. Tatter Souls, 1200. Mega value. These archers always pay for themselves, man. Look at this guy. 1300 value. They were completely unperturbed. And yeah, his build just didn't really have the oomph, because the Maneaters were eating up all the money. The Luminarch almost paid for itself. Nice. Mouth breathing main tide, yep. It's probably the best way to play Empire. Alright, now you guys want to see my sick high elf run? So this game was insane. This game was truly bonkers. But it's what started out the tournament day. This was played yesterday in Turin's tournament. The undefeatable turn 10 campaign RMW. Alright, yeah, let's take a look at this. So, I wanted to try double Arcane Phoenix Kite. My opponent kind of went for a light man tiding. He had the Slann Mage Priest of Fire. with Burning Head. And he had, yeah, some early skirmishers, right? So this means it's basically gonna come down to a DPS race. But take a look at this. So these Arcane Phoenixes are interesting. Their Vortex comes down a lot faster than the Moonbird. And as you can see, it does a lot of damage. But it kind of pushes units to the edge of the Vortex. It doesn't really stagger cavalry super well. And it also has a longer time to initiate once you are actually in position over the unit. But it's not bad. You can see here, right? Like, look at that. It actually didn't really do much to the Legion of Chaqua. It seems to just have a weaker stagger. So kind of sus. But in general, still get a little bit of value. We of course have Altharian because he's a Chad. And then my first order of business was sniping this Slon. You can just see the Shadow Warriors are doing good. I did take some Shadow Walkers because they have poison. I'm thinking I'll probably start mixing them at least a one of in my kite builds, because the poison will slow down any cavalry, which is very important. And yeah, Arcane Phoenixes are kind of like better Moonbirds, but I don't really like the Vortex. I really like the Moonbird Vortex more, because it's actually harder to dodge on the opponent side, because you can kind of adjust as needed. The Arcane Phoenix, you can't adjust after you cast it, so you have 1 second to kind of maneuver. Anyway, Slon Mage Priest is getting low. He did get a pretty solid Burning Head, but we didn't lose any entities. But you can see he's just going for the big push now. He's just diving on in. But because of that, he leaves his Slon exposed to the birds. And he's going to get quite a bit of damage on him. It's more of a chaff clear Vortex. Well, it can hit anything. It's just anything fast can kind of dodge it. But anyways, yeah, we just immediately go for the Lord Snipe because it doesn't really have cavalry nearby. This cavalry's all the way over here, so not really too much to worry about. And then while we kite the classic, you summon in mobility, and then you eat up all of that infantry. So this seems like it's going pretty well, but I assure you it's going to be closer than you think. Altharian gets his missile barrage too, which does a lot of damage to the Legion of Chaqua. But now he charges in with his cavalry. Unfortunately for my opponent, though, I have a little bit of a strat. And that is going to be using this Vortex. Now, I didn't position it perfectly, but we do still manage to catch a handful of Cold One Riders here in the backfield. Takes out about, or Feral Cold Ones. Takes about like a quarter HP damage. I really should have positioned here, though. Kind of whiffed it. At least Altharian's Arrow Barrage is still good. And the Toad is now going to get executed. Honestly, I kind of like the Moonbird more. I kind of like the Moonbird more. It's like way easier to get into position. But anyways, there we go. And the Lord's gonna get pecked to death. Now, there is a little bit of jank. Single entity jank as always. The moon, the Arcane Phoenix decides to just be the Slon's pet for a little bit. Suffer as I did when I realized what was going on. You'd think right-clicking to attack would work, but yeah. Anyways, we finally give a move command to make him turn. And he gets the attack. And that should finish off that Slon Mage Priest. There you go. And he's dead. Tickets are ticking though, right? He's already 1/3 of the way there to victory if I don't capture these points. So it's a little awkward. It's a little awkward. Of course, Altharian can still farm value with his barrages. He's already at 1800 value. And over here, the cavalry cleanup has gone fairly well. But now he has Cold One Spear Riders, and they trade really well into my cavalry. I kind of need war lines to kill these guys. But with 2 Spear Riders here, my ranged corps could get compromised. Another great Vortex, though, on top of his cavalry. Melting them up. Getting him to rout. That one was much better than the last, as this Arcane Phoenix is now at 1200 Valley. And this kind of trio just ruins cavalry blobs if you play it out just right. But can I defend my skirmishers? You can see the value trading is actually not that great, but most of the damage is on my single entities, so we're not too far behind. The Cold Wind Spear Riders, despite getting slowed by the poison, they do still manage to catch my boys. Now, the charge is not that great. In fact, the charge bonus is only 32. So as long as I keep running away, we can keep on shooting them. But it did mean that I had to sacrifice a good amount of my cavalry. Kind of painful. But most of these guys should be able to live. Clock's really ticking now. So we summon in a couple units here just to try and capture a point. I'm willing to lose a little bit of value to capture a point, because if he maintains a triple cap, we're just completely screwed. At least the single entity squad is doing well, but it's getting a little close. It's getting a little close. Didn't watch Turn's late night tournament. Did you win? We did win. Actually had a 100% win rate as high elves, but there were definitely some very close matches like this one. As we do finally kill off the Cold Wind Spear Riders. They're a complete menace though. In fact, they almost routed off a bunch of my Shadow Warriors. But it looks like things should be going really well right now, right? But here's kind of the problem. The only capture weight I have is over here. And they're not really killing the Chameleon Stalkers too well. Okay, yeah, I get a fearsome roar and all that. But we don't actually have units on the point that are capturing. My cavalry, yeah, these Ragara's Pride have 3 capture weight. These guys have 3.2. The cavalry have 1.2. So I'm barely capturing this, and he's already at 1,000 tickets. Needless to say, I was getting a little bit uncomfortable about the situation. And if the Saurus Spears get on this point, suddenly we're triple capped and he's at 1,000 tickets. He also has a rogue Chameleon Stalker kind of warding me off. I do rout off his cavalry, but his Saurus Spears over here are a little bit punishing it. It's a little awkward, right? Yeah, we get the birds, and my plan here is basically to rout these guys off as fast as possible. I need to get them routed off, because as long as they stay here, he's just going to be hammering the point. So I get a sick Arcane Phoenix Vortex there that gets just enough damage in for the terror out. So now Ragara's Pride is capturing, but only at 3 per second. And he summons in a unit of Horned Ones. Thankfully for me, this is kind of good for my single entities. They're happy to fight that. I know that if he brings the Horned Ones onto the point, that he just out-capture weight me. So I just charge him with the Ragara's Pride, and he actually move commands onto the point, which means that even though he does prevent a capture, he takes insane amounts of damage without actually killing my lions. So it's a little sus. But of course, we don't have a lot of time left. Triple capped at 1279. Very, very bad. If I can rout off the Horned Ones, we're good. It's not like they have ITP or anything. They just cause fear. So we do terror out them. The point slowly but surely gets captured. I barely managed to stall out the Chameleon Skinks. And just like that, point number 1 is not ours. He actually somehow gets 1 unit onto it for half a second. Oh, I think the Horned Ones rallied. I think that's what happened. Yeah, and the capture weight's just barely not sticking. And there we go. Now, I don't have to tell you that this is us. The sweating is definitely going on right now. Sweating is definitely there. Somehow he even manages to have capture weight again on this point. I don't even know what units are on it. The Shadow Walkers and Warriors are trying to make their way to the middle. But I have like 40 seconds left. I have 40 seconds left to win this game, and he's starting to hunker down on the last point. Obviously, we have a lot of cavalry. Middle point is going to be very, very close. And there you go, it gets captured. At 1465. We have less than 30 seconds now to capture the last point. All hands are on deck. I brought all the boys. We brought all the cavalry. We're charging the feral cold ones. But he does get onto the point with one of his cold one units. Thankfully, I do manage to rout these guys off, which is going to be pretty nice. We get the roar from the lions, which barely manages to rout these guys off. And the point is getting captured, but he has 5 seconds left to win. 2 seconds, 1 second, and then I capture the point. Oh my god, I was sweating. I'm sweating right now just watching this game. And then he almost captures this one. He brings in the Saurus Spears. I gotta walk the Shadow Warriors back onto this point just to secure it. What a terrifying match this one was. This was terrifying. So literally he was 1 second away from winning. 1 second on any of the capture points would have won it for him. Oh my gosh. Freaky game, freaky game. This is the downside of going so many single entities. If you don't max out your DPS on them, it's crazy. Oh man, yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. That was pretty crazy. And we barely win with fairly good value on Altharian and the Phoenixes. Hella Phoenix value. Lord Snipe was very important there to make sure he could actually route stuff. What a nail biter though, holy crap. Absolute nail biter. Yo, Shaxcraft, oh my gosh. The poor guy. And that's how we started off yesterday's tournament. Oh man, dude, that one was crazy. That was a crazy match. This is a crime. Oh boy. Yo, it was so close. Oh man. Yeah, that was the first game. That was game number 1. Oh man, yeah, the Lion Roar, dude. Even the most minor of misplays could have thrown that game. Eltharion has a weird mass. Yeah, so what? Boris has 2,300. I know what you mean. Altharion's a very slippery dude. He is heavier than Boris. But yeah, he's really good at getting out of cavalry surrounds. Mistwalker Barrage helps a lot too. Yeah, the sad thing is, if you lose round 1 in Turin's tournament, you're probably out of the tourney. So that match probably took my opponent out. Rough time for him. Although he did get a lot of opponent points, because we did get a 100% win rate after. Or did I play Shaxcraft later in the tourney? I don't think so. He has less than the Wyverns, but they struggle a lot more. It must be a size and hitbox thing. It could also be acceleration. I know acceleration is pretty big. It has a pretty big impact. Still waiting on Martin versus Willamos. By the way, if we do win this match, or this tournament, I will be number 1 on the ladder, ahead of Charix. That's the goal. That's the goal today. Yeah, also has really good charge animations. Yo, if the Wyvern was just Eltharion, it'd be so sick. It rampaging at 75% health is so bad, though. You can't afford to have your big single entity effectively throw itself to death. at a quarter HP loss. Yeah, Eltharion, I don't really like running the Fang Sword. Most people aren't focus firing him, so I don't really feel the need. I also don't run the Helm of Yvresse. It does give your guys the ability to not die, which in theory is really good. But I think as the High Elves, you just don't really run into a lot of situations where you want to use it. Maybe you can chuck it on some infantry. But yeah, it just doesn't really do that much. You can chuck it on like your War Lions though, but you gotta be in range. It's only 17 seconds. They can still take damage. Hoping I win this tourney. Fingers crossed. Shaman Lord on a Wyvern is pretty good. He's not bad. He's not bad. You don't see him too often though. You know how the Helm affects Phoenix Rebirth? Oh, it's great for Phoenix Rebirth. So, essentially what it does is it'll just let them keep re-triggering their rebirth until they get it successfully. Can be quite nice, make sure that they don't rout. But who's focus firing Phoenixes anyways? I think it should guarantee the rebirth. Because this thing triggers more or less constantly. You do have to keep the Phoenixes close though. Like at most, I think you get one situation where like one instance in the game where you actually get to use the ability to its best effect. And is that really worth 200 gold? Doesn't that mean that the Phoenix keeps exploding? I think that's how it works in Warhammer 2. The Phoenix would just keep exploding rapidly and it would deal like 1,000,000 damage around it. I don't know if they fixed that or not, but it was pretty jokes. Anyways, it still doesn't really have too many uses. Though you can chuck it on some archers if they're getting focus fired. So maybe if you chuck it on the Everqueen's Court Guard, maybe I could have saved them in that game against Khorne. Martin and Willamos still fighting. They still fighting. Might be worth it for artillery diving. Kind of like Buyer Blood. Oh. Kind of. The thing is, Eltharion still has to be there. That's the biggest problem. Eltharion has to be within 50 meters. So imagine if Buyer Blood only worked if your Lord could get 50 meters of the deep dive. That's not nearly as good. Buyer Blood also triggers perfectly at the time the unit is about to rout. Whereas Helm of Yvresse, if you cast it too early, you lose a lot of its duration. So yeah, it's kind of sus. It's kind of sus. And like Eltharion gets to like 3,000 gold if you take all this. I kind of just like Shield of Safri and Mistwalker Barrage. Yeah, give it like 200 meter range, then we're talking, man. At 200 meters, this would be sick. For Warriors of Chaos, if you had infinite marks of chaos, would you prefer the base Exalted hero? The Khorne or Tzeentch one for the Chariot? The Tzeentch one 100%. He has the highest speed and shields. High speed and shields means that he's going to be cycle charging for days. For days. Oh man, Unbreakable immediately rallying the unit would be so good, man. Holy crap, it would be so good. It would kind of be, actually, you know, it would be so good for the Lore of Light. I would totally run the Light of Battle to rally routing units. Unit of Spears route, make them unbreakable. That would be so good, man. And then you don't have to worry about mistiming it. You just wait for them to route. There's no ability in the game that can rally a unit. Unless... I think some transformation abilities might work if they trigger right as they start routing. Although I don't... Like, Malice Darkblade, if he routes, he doesn't transform. Yeah, Light of Battle could use some buffs. So there's a lot of spells that could use buffs. I think if CA just go to all these weak units and spells and buff them up, it's like we get a full DLC. More or less. If a ranged unit uses up to 100% of their ammo and you unsummon them, how much of the cost you regain? 50%. Which is why kiting play is so good, especially with like Scourge Runners. You get half your money back, man. It's great. You know why there's not that many signups? It's mostly because Charks and Danican aren't playing. Charks and Danican, for the past few weeks, they're just like a solid +2 to the number of signups every tournament. I think they didn't play, neither of them have played today or yesterday. I wonder if they're scheming. How many RTKs do we have here? Where are the RTKs at? Are they scheming in the shadows? Are they practicing with each other? Kind of weird that there's no rally mechanic in the game. I'll see how they buff up the spells first. There should be a multiplayer update sometime this month, right? I don't know if they'll actually stick with it, but we'll see. Okay, I'm messaging the players. Range units should have an order to pick up their arrows. That would be pretty jokes, but way too jank. Has there ever been a rally ability in Total War history? Ooh, my guess is no. Otherwise, it would have made it into Warhammer, right? These guys are taking so long. Okay, they just finished. Let's go. Hey, Attack Speed Enjoyer, what's up? Did the Sisters of Avalon get a price decrease? That looks cheaper than I remember. I think they did. They used to be 1100. I don't know which patch it was though. Literally last patch. Yes, they got a 50 gold cost reduction. Just a nice little nudge in the favor of the sisters. Advancing the Swiss. Round 3. Remember, there will not be a round 4. And we're up against Dr. Jellyfish. Hello, Dr. Jelly. Hit him up with the yo-yo. Hit him up with the code for the lobby. Hit him up with the draft. You know, if we don't get a lot of signups, what I could do is I could do a best of 3 tournament Best of 3 single elim. Could be fun. All right, let's see if I can finally get an, or I guess I did get an Empire game. I want to get another Empire game. I want to get another. And then Norska. Now what are his factions? Wood Elves and Skaven. Okay. I'm very tempted to just fight his Skaven and call it a day. Skaven, if he wins with Skaven, that would be quite something. Okay, last is Dark Elves. So yeah, let's just get rid of Wood Elves from the get-go. I don't want to play against that. Then we'll get rid of his... Yeah, you know what? Ah, man, Empire versus Skaven though. How do I feel about that? If there's a matchup that's kind of sus, it is actually kind of Empire versus Skaven, isn't it? Empire versus Dark Elves. Got him. We got him, baby. Thank goodness. Could have been very sus. Okay, so versus Dark Elves. All right, should be fairly straightforward. Let's get that Empire in going. So, what do we do? Skaven are kind of weird. Do I have a save build? I think I used to, but then it got deleted with the great PC reset. Bans Haunted Vale. Let's play Itza. Okay, so we're on Itza. Alrighty, alrighty. What am I to do? What am I to do? Are Outriders good against Scourge Runners? Oh wait, no, it's not Skaven, it's Dark Elves. Crap. I kept getting it mixed up. Empire versus Dark Elves. Oh, let's see here. Outriders are okay versus Scourge Runners. Dark Elves, they definitely have the kite. Cheap infantry or cheap cavalry tends to be the counter to Dark Elf kite. Fastest tourney possible is, yeah, single elim, SFT with pre-picked factions, no banning. I think that tournament would go by so fast, but the RNG would hurt so much. What am I doing here? He's Dark Elves. Trying to think of what's the most problematic thing. I guess Cold One Knights. I guess Cold One Knights are the most problematic. Empire generally doesn't have a whole lot that can deal with that. This should just be a good build though. Melkoths. Oh yeah, yeah. Just have 1,000,000 Melkoths and then you're fine. Yeah, that's true. Doomfire Warlocks, maybe? Do I have to worry about Doomfire Warlocks? I don't think so. It should be pretty hard for him to get a good fight against this build. This is just a solid Empire build, I think. Yeah, and then I just take 2 of these. The problem is like if I start playing the standard play style, just go on hyper meta, he could just hard counter me. But this, all things considered, this is pretty hard to just hard counter. One does not simply. Let's see what else I want here. Pistolier's good. Are they good? Are Pistoliers good against Dark Elves? I think they are, right? Because they're light cavalry, so Scourge Runners can't really get a lot of work done on them. Then obviously we need some anti-Dark Rider play. I think I get 1 more of these just in case. 1 of these. And then... Ugh. How do I clean up this build? Yeah, okay. It's a weird one. I don't know if this is gonna crush it or just die immediately. Actually, let's change it up a bit. I kind of want them. Oh, I can't take this? Oh, what a ripoff. What a ripoff. Alright, I'll take 1 of these instead. Alright, let's take a look. It's Mantide. It's good old Mantide. That army cover is amazing. Yeah, it was made by Kravdir. It's sick. It's sick. Aren't you always tryharding? Well, this time we're not using meme builds. This time we're going for that 100% win rate today. Full sweat. You know it's full sweat because we got double Malkoth's casters. Seems kind of crazy, but I assure you, they will do great because they just melt away any and all cavalry that gets sent my way. My favorite, mass archer in a tight formation. They should do pretty well. He'll have a hard time breaking through this front line. At least he should. There we go. And then we're just gonna intersperse these guys. Ready, good luck, have fun. And these guys are super cheap. I think they cost only $350 a pop. So that should go well for us. He's gone for a Reaper Bolt Thrower. Okay. Lots of Corsairs. Only 11 units. Now, Reaper Bolt Thrower doesn't really have too much to do in this fight. So if we just kind of walk on up here, should be fine. He's brought the Buna. He done brought Buna and K-Knight Assassins. So a lot of his money went into stuff that just doesn't really... counter my stuff here. He just doesn't really have a lot of good counters. So we're already sitting pretty comfy. Got to be a little wary of the assassin, but he does not have a lot of HP. So the best way to counter them is to just send infantry onto him. We want to hard push him because he just doesn't really have the infantry. We're gonna pull back over here. Gonna bring in our cavalry. He is out of position currently, and then I should just be able to rush down his front line, I think, as Marcus continues to fire away. Here we go. We're just hard pushing him, waiting for him to summon anything bigger than a bleak sword. 3 company militia are in. We're just slowly creeping up. He's gonna have to abandon his position. But Rakarth is in. Now, do I have to worry about Rakarth? Yes, he can get a pretty nasty hit on my Sigmar Sons. But he's about to get netted and focus fired, which is not a particularly nice position for him. There's Melkoth's number 1. He has abandoned his artillery position. Very nice. And I can bring in some sick cavalry to deal with the Witch Elves. Unfortunately for me, Rakarth did manage to survive. Well, how do you do? And he's not really summoning a lot. Okay, he actually de-summons it. Okay, that's kind of crazy. Here comes the cavalry. Cavalry abound. Gotta have guard mode on. Whoops. Alright, so I don't really have a Melkoth for him. Not quite yet. Cavalry's gonna have to back up. It's going to be a little bit sketchier than I would have hoped for. But at the very least, it seems like they are certainly taking a lot of damage from the Pistoliers and such. Let's get in more Knights. Get another Melkoths on them. Rapid fire back-to-back Melkoths should do pretty well. But in a melee fight against the Dark Elves, life's not too pretty. I do manage to rout off his Cav though. And those are just Dark Riders, so I don't have to worry about that too much. How pleasant. There they go, they're gone. Alright. So maybe we are okay. I do like that these guys are able to provide leadership and such too. Gets a Doom Bolt. Kind of whiffs. And then it's just those Doomfire Warlocks that I gotta deal with. Pretty solid charge on their end. Marcus is taking a lot of damage too. This might be a good time to get some more guns though, because he's not really in position to get too much work done on him. Most of his cavalry's kind of preoccupied. He's not summoning in more cavalry, which is a good sign. Interesting to see that he has shades. It seems like, okay, we have caught his Doomfire Warlocks. Rakarth is getting in there though. And Marcus is taking a lot of damage. Honestly, a proper scrap this one is. But with the long rifles online and operational, I'm a little bit more worried for my opponent. Sigmar Sons are doing great. One caster goes down, but we have another one. Gonna Melkoths the Witch Elves. And the Doomfire Warlocks indeed are going down. There we go. So there goes that dude. Definitely a huge scrap, I must say. This left flank is where it's at, though. If we cannot hold the left flank, we're pretty doomed. Most of these archers will probably rally. So on that front, I'm not too worried, but I really don't like how high HP Rakarth is. If Rakarth continues to chill at high HP, he will be an absolute menace. Should be able to shut those guys down at least. And I can just kind of take position under the safety of my guns. Let the long rifles cook. And then maybe we'll be okay. As Marcus takes yet another Doom Bolt to the face. Looks like he wants to snipe him. Marcus gonna have to evac for sure. There's Cold One Knights, yep. So no chase in the shades. Although I can Melkoths them. There we go, Marcus on the run of his life. He's just trying to live. Definitely quite the tussle of a match. But if I can kill his caster, it's a plus. He does have a second point over me, but I do have a nice cavalry advantage. So really anyone's game, I feel. As Marcus continues to run for his life. The Pistoliers are doing their bestest. Let's net those harpies real quick so that we may finish them off. Should be a pretty good charge. And it seems like we're barely coming out on top. It's another good Melkoth. Still have to deal with the shades one way or another, but Marcus lives, which is already a great start for me. Marcus surviving is huge. And one thing we can do is we can get another long rifle. Yeah, I think we want to get another long rifle. Where's that cavalry at? Oh, he actually resummons a bolt thrower. Okay, so maybe I don't go for another long rifle. That could actually be pretty sus. What I want is like some Royal Altdorf Griffites, actually. We're gonna be able to kill off those guys. Marcus lives. Glorious Marcus. What a Chad. His Dark Elf passive is just going ham, though. I don't like that. This guy's gonna have to dodge. Okay, Marcus can start capturing the far side. I think I gotta abandon this position. This Cold One Knights is such a pain. I need the Royal Altdorf Griffites and bad. And soon. He's on the hunt for Marcus. He wants to overcast Spirit Leech him. I can smell that coming miles away. Alright, here we go. Royal Altdorf Griffites. If there's one unit that can turn the tide of this battle, it's them. He's used most of his magic already. So it's not like he has a ton of power plays. No Bunas, no nothing. So Royal Altdorf Griffite should be able to do well, but he gets a final Spirit Leech on Marcus, so he's definitely gonna die. Barely spots him with the Cold One Knights. And he goes down. Brutality. Brutality as Marcus falls. Here come the Dark Riders. And I have just a few Demogryph Knights to my name. Now, does not mean that things are over just yet. As bad as it may seem, there's always hope. Should be able to catch out those Dark Riders. There you go. Dark Riders are caught up. His Crows of Cain here are not a big deal. I just gotta get a good fight on those Cold One Knights, is all. They are rather slow, which helps me out. It's a pretty good mopping up of that center position. All right. Good terror out over there. And I should be able to sandwich these Cold One Knights. We get a pretty solid charge on them, but will he kill the Griffites? If the Griffites die, there is surely no hope. And he gets a Spirit Leech on him. Oh my gosh, dude, the Griffites sucked. The Griffites didn't cook. Dang. Oh my gosh. Griffites get routed off. Lord lost penalty a bit too much. And I think he wins this one. Well played by Dr. Jellyfish. Looks like my Empire versus Dark Elves still has to work a little bit. Let's see here. Is there anything I can do? I can resummon Marcus, but I don't think there's much left here. He just has too much close range cavalry summons. GG, well played. Dang. Proper scrap though. Proper scrap. Look at that. Whew. Now, how'd the double Melkotzers do? They only got like 1,000 gold worth of value. I feel like they might have been able to do better. Okay, the Pistoliers were good. The Archers were okay. I just kind of took a bad fight on his side of the battlefield that I didn't need to, right? I don't think the Bolt Thrower was ever going to actually be problematic. I thought that I could just rush it down, but what I really should have done is just play ultra safe and just shoot him up with the Outriders the whole game. That map in particular was going to be rough if I summoned any artillery. The Bolt Throwers were there to counter it. Well played. Well played to my opponent. Oh crap. I didn't show the shade value. The shade's got a lot of work done. I was never able to get a good flank on him. Dang. But yeah, these guys only cost 350. But they weren't really dishing out the most painful magic in the world. I kind of needed them versus the Cold One Knights though. Almost wanted something that did a little bit more damage though. Like maybe next time I'll just go Lore of Death. and just take Buna. But yeah, I shouldn't have just pushed his artillery. Brutality. Alright, let's take a look at the top 4 though. So I'm at 2 wins, very high opponent points. Dr. Jellyfish with the triple win. Let's see here. The Big H, Sven are fighting, and Martin and Willamos are fighting. So it looks like we will have our top 4 easily decided, no ties. Attack speed enjoyer. Oh no, it's attack speed enjoyer versus Martin. Okay. Big H versus Sven. Yeah, so it's the winners of these next 2 matches that will determine who makes it. Not a lot of sign-ups, so we're only doing a 3-rounder. Maybe I'll do a best of 3 finals. I'll ask my opponent. You know what I should have done? I should have just taken a million outrider. Just a million outriders and just shoot them to death. With 1 bolt thrower, he can't really punish the kite that much, right? I gotta just get more comfortable ignoring artillery. Which faction would be best to bring 40 units in domination, do you think? 40 units? Probably Skaven, right? I think Skaven and... It's probably just Skaven. I don't really see any other faction that does super well. A lot of them will take 20 in the starting army, but so much infantry in reserve is really sus. Were the spears blocking the guns? I think they just didn't really have the armor piercing to deal damage to a cart for the few that could shoot. Yeah, bolt thrower would have been annoying for the long rifles, but if I kept them in the trees, they wouldn't have actually been revealed. So I could have just taken 1 long rifle, leave them in the trees, and then he's kind of stuck. That would have been a much nicer play, and then force him to rush me down instead. I also did bad map bans. Dark Elves love these close quarter maps. And they will yeah, they'll just cook super hard because of their passive triggering when they get summoned in. Anyways, let's show off this Skaven match. I think this one was also really close. Artillery can't hurt you if you keep it off screen. More or less. Alright. Let's take a look-see. So this is a standard kite versus Skaven. You can see we have our Arcane Phoenix. We have a Burning Headlord. All very good versus Skaven. He's about a 20 stack to start with. And a little summoner. One thing we can do though. So I fireballed 1 of his artillery pieces, which will get him to group up with his artillery crew a little bit harder. This is great because as soon as they're grouped up, we can just get some sick bomb drops in with the Phoenix. So you can see just like that, right? And Skaven leadership was not really meant to handle this situation. So right from the get-go, we already managed to rout off the Warp Lightning Cannon. And I could just escort that off the battlefield. Really, really nice little tech here, that Flamespire Phoenix. It's pretty brutal. And then we have our good old kiting business here to deal with all of the rest of his infantry. From here, it's pretty straightforward, right? We're just kiting, we're chasing off the artillery piece with the Phoenix. Only takes a little bit of micro. And I'm just sacrificing some victory tickets here for this. overall, things are looking good, but it's at this point that my opponent decides enough is enough, it's time to rush. Now, his rush would be way more scary if he did not invest so much in that artillery piece. But my Phoenix is pretty far away. Thankfully for me, though, by focus firing the units that get a little bit too close, we can rout them off almost immediately. See these rat ogres as they push through, just filled with arrows down to half HP. But it's going to be a little sus, as now my opponent does manage to get that triple cap situation going on. Little scary. Get a nice volley on his gutter runners. And also, a lot of people haven't been really respecting the fact that you can Lord Snipe Skaven. So I did bring a Fireball caster purely to just shoot at Deathmaster Snickage. You also get an amazing burning head right down the pipe on those gutter runners. Followed by, did it rebound this game? No, but it was still a very good burning head. Gonna be annihilating him. Regards Pride too, super good. And it's a pretty big route for the Skaven right now. We got a very good value lead. I just gotta close out this game. But like, look at that massive right flank route. It's brutal. Really goes to show that Skaven suck. Skaven are real bad. Snickage 2 kind of dies to the Flamestar Phoenix. It does have magic attack, so his physical resist doesn't even help him. As long as you cycle charge with this, it should be fine. And then more fireball spams. I think we chucked one out on him here. Yeah, there it is. Another fireball. And another 20% HP gone. As Skaven, you always gotta fear the Lord Snipe. And I think most people should bring a Lord Sniping tool. Because it's just so snipeable, man. Of course, I could also just Spirit Leech him, but fireballs are not bad. You do love that Skaven are the only army that follows Medieval 2 game design and are able to mass route. It's kind of rough, though. It's kind of rough for them. There's another fireball. Snickage is now running for his life, becoming near useless, and he can't really help out the rest of his army. And at this point, we have a massive value lead. It's just closing it out. So cavalry do a little bit of cleanup. Snickage runs into the trees. But we gotta try and actually capture some points, right? The hardest part about this is not getting value. It's actually securing points. So we're gonna have to actually get this one. You can see he's really beginning to hunker down, right? I make a play for the high ground, but this is generally not advised. It's better to pull all your forces to one point than it is to go to the high ground. We do kill some triads, though. And of course, Ogara's Pride is really good at routing them off. Thankfully, we do capture this, but over here on the high ground, he has Rat Ogres. There's not really much I can do about that. But a 2-cap is a 2-cap fairly quickly this time, so I don't have to worry as much as before. But actually killing off Snickage is now going to be a bit of a problem because he is in the trees. The Phoenix is going to try and peck him a little bit. But he's still a pretty tanky fellow at 50 melee defense. He really can just grind for a long time. And I can't really fireball him without a high risk of missing. But we still have most of the guys routed. This guy's kind of problematic though, Plague Priest. He's quite good with the Vermintides. It's nice to see that it's getting a little bit of a resurgence. All these old spells and abilities, but as you can see, Phoenix doing pretty well against Snickage. It's quite low, but somehow it manages to live with 19 melee defense. Yeah, okay, it gets a heal. Thank goodness for that heal. As it continues to grind away. Yeah, how does it ever even hit this guy? I got a cycle charge with it. At the very least, I have Terror, though. And with so many units routing nearby, it looks like Snickage is almost there. A lot of units are routing near him. His flanks are exposed. Mighty Roar is there. But he barely sticks with it. And clock's kind of ticking, right? I do technically win on a double cap, though. Oh, no, I technically don't win on a double cap, if I remember correctly. Yeah, my opponent barely wins on 1 point. Or does he? He needs 400. It's super close. I think he does actually manage to retake this though, while I'm fighting here and trying to ride off Snickage. Yeah, so we would have won on 1 point, but in that big grind, we were not on the point. We lost a bunch of units and he retakes. So I do actually have to recapture. I did desummon a bunch of my Shadow Warriors though, so I did get the opportunity to resummon them. So I just got to take this last point. He holds that one for a long time though, so now he definitely wins on a single point. It's miles away, and once again we have a little bit of a sketchy bout. So I kite out his Rad Ogres a little bit, right? We get our Shadow Warriors. Snickage was holding very well, but this time around I have a little over 2 minutes to secure this point. He does resummon Snickage though, stealth him up, and then catches out my Lord because I didn't see him. But Burning Head is pretty brutal. Insta terror out on the Rad Ogres. Thank goodness for that Flamespire Phoenix heal, by the way. If it died and I didn't have a Phoenix to terror out, it would be so much worse. But at this point, it's pretty over, right? We just have an overwhelming army size. There's not really much you can do. I did catch him summoning the doggos in the distance, so we can stop them from capturing. We're gonna win with 100 seconds on the clock. Overall, a little sus. Kite play always is on the knife's edge, but if you can army wipe your opponent, it's pretty easy to get all the capture points. And that's our second win. That's our second win for the High Elves. Very sus though. Very, very sus. Phoenix got pretty good value. Killing off the artillery piece and fighting Snickage was great. Ragara's Pride. I think you just always run Ragara's Pride. They're just so good. And then Snickage, yeah, I didn't get too much. So not too bad. Not too bad. Anyways, let's get into this top 4 from my own tournament. Like how you go into melee with your Wizard Lord with Snickage just to make things extra spicy. In the game, I didn't see Snickage until I had already landed. So it's not as bad as it may have seemed. I didn't realize that he resummoned him because he's invisible. Shadow Walkers are the team leaders of Shadow Warriors, so pairing them up is pretty lore accurate. Hell yeah. A loss on a tryhard day? I know, man. I know. Losing on the tryhard. It's rough. Alright, nice. Attack Speed Enjoyer defeats Martin for the double victory, which means that our top 4 is decided. So now we go ahead and advance the top 4. And get her done. So let's go over here at Anticity versus at the Big H. At Attack Speed Enjoyer versus at Dr. Jellyfish. Let's get it done. Let's do it. Yo, yo. Alright, I gotta win as Empire, though. After that loss against Dark Elves. You can't be losing against Dark Elves. Shame. Absolute shame. Let's get those picks and banes going. Yo, I swear though, when I'm not streaming, I do so much better. Every time I play in turns tournaments, I can go like 0% loss rate. Then I start streaming and it's 3-1s for days. 20 squats per lost match. Oh my gosh, I've been doing so many squats lately, man. I need a break. Just had to look at the faction stats. Yeah, Skaven are real low. They're at a 39% win rate. Everything else is actually fairly balanced though, except for Norska. Somehow Norska has really had a big resurgence. All right, I'm gonna go Empire again. I really want to get some Empire practice in. I feel like I haven't been enjoying them enough. I should also touch up on my Wood Elves. Trying to talk during battles and explain what you're doing is really, really hard. I should have enough practice at this point, though. I've been doing it for like 5 years. Tzeentch and Petonia. Interesting. Does that mean we're just gonna get hard countered because Norska can't really deal with them? What beats Tzeentch and Petonia? Dwarves. Why not? Why not? Let's get some dwarf action in. So he has Wood Elves. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of... I get rid of Tzeentch if it looks like he's going for the Norska, right? And then we leave Petonia up. So I get rid of Wood Elves first. He bans Norska. Wowza. Am I really gonna get to play Dwarves versus Petonia? Dude, that's hilarious. It's either that or Empire versus Petonia, which is less hilarious. Empire versus Tzeentch should be pretty favored though. So what if I just leave Tzeentch up? But then it might be Dwarves versus Tzeentch. Let's do this. I wish there was an extra stat to show the imbalance against various factions though. See which... no, there is. You can actually see matchups. Holy crap, he banned Empire. It's Dwarves versus Petonia. It's Dwarves versus Tonia. Okay, in theory, this is hella favored for me. In theory, this is insanely favored for me. He says, aw, crap. He didn't think I would leave Petonia. All right, so yeah, this I still gotta play it smart, but this should be really good. It's been a while since I played dwarves too. Longbeard time. I'll have to see. I'll have to see what we want to do as the Dowie. He should be pretty boned though. Could this be a short battle? Please, chat. Let's see here. Air Force. Petonia has a lot of fast flyers. Air Force is real sus. Eastern Owl Colonies, the map that he decides to go for, alright. There is a strategy that I've wanted to try out. Air Force is real interesting. You gotta make sure that you don't just get rushed into oblivion though. It's very easy to just get hella rushed. You wanted Empire, so this is punishment. Let's see here. He says this is about to be a rough time. I think so. Okay, this is a pretty fun starter pack. And then I can take a couple of those. Definitely want a bunch of this. The general theory here is that you have so much armor and anti-cavalry ranged that there's just no way for the Petonians to win it. Though they did get Foot Squire action, which certainly helps them out a little bit. But in general, it's fairly comfortable for the dwarves. Sure, let's try this out. He's gonna go gold chevron men-at-arm pole arms. The dread pole arming. Mass bolt thrower. I would like to request one goblin hewer. A singular goblin hewer. I don't think it's that good here. I think goblin hewer just gets shot by archers. It seems real bad. But yeah, I feel like this build here that I got going is not too bad. It shouldn't be too bad. Ooh, this makes it even better. As long as you have stuff that can cut down cavalry. Okay, yeah, maybe he brings in a lot of infantry. Technically, you can foot squire push it. Like, they should just get shot to death, right? Did they trade into longbeards? Maybe they do trade into longbeards now. We're on Eastern Isle Colony, though, which is a very choke point heavy map. The troll hammer torpedoes are really nice. There's just a lot of stuff that is really rough for him. What are the infantry going to do to a dwarf warrior? Foot squires have actually gotten a lot of buffs. Their anti-infantry armor piercing is nice. Alright, here we go. 100 armor lord can't be killed, right? Ungrim. Ungrim's a little bit slow. Even the naked guy can't really be killed. Behold. So I wanted to have a bit of fun this game. And also going slightly off meta in these very one-sided matchups can be very important. Because, ooh, look at that balloon color. Oh, I love the red on this. Dude, that looks so sick. Holy crap, that looks amazing. So, yeah, this is gonna be insane. This is gonna be insane. So, yeah, like I said, skew builds. Skew builds are where it's at. The only thing is, like, he could bring in a bunch of archers, but they die to the bombers so hard. I don't think they'll be a big issue. I basically just want to camp over here. And then we should be good. Double gyro bomber thunder barge. Using the beautiful red color scheme. We got our dragon back slayers to keep these guns alive in case he does try something air heavy. But like, I think air heavy Bretonia is just so unlikely to see that it's pretty safe to go for this. Let's give him some freedom. Should be very fun. Yeah. Yo, this is gonna be hype. No Malachi. We don't really need to heal the Thunder Barge. If the Thunder Barge is getting shot at, I'm misplaying. Hell yeah, trebuchets. Alright, so he's about as dead as can be. He brought kind of a normal... Oh my gosh, he brought like almost pure infantry. That's gotta be rough. We do have to actually dodge those rocks, by the way. But a pure infantry build against this? Oh boy. Let's get that dodge off though. Oh, he actually hit one. He actually hit one. What the crap? All right, there we go. Just gotta keep dodging. These guys will have to pivot soon enough. So we can use our steam gyros in here. Now, does he have flyers is the big question. Does he have flyers? And will I be able to kill all of these trebuchets? That's the big question. You can see him trying to evacuate. Oh my god, the damage. All right. Well, I think it's probably a mass route. No? Dang, they stuck around. Okay. He heals up. He healed the trebuchets. All right, one last shot over there. Oh my gosh. All right, there you go. I'll just finish them off the old-fashioned way. Here you go. As soon as I get him to dismount, we're goodies. And these things just have unlimited ammo, by the way, so I don't really have to worry much about that. Does he have any air units, or is this just going to be bullying? I think this may just be bullying. This is the threat of running skew builds against the mighty Dowie. It's another bomb. It's another bomb. There goes his infantry. Nice. Very nice. And we just go park over here. Thunderbarge is just having the time of its life. There's another bomb. There we go. We might as well just focus fire the Fey Enchantress, I guess. And he's gone.
Unending glory is yours.
Alright. Unending glory indeed. 2 losses. Oh, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. You have no fly. He had no flyers. Yeah, the only thing he had was 2 archers. Holy crap! And brought the World War II tactics. Oh god, he brought gold chevron trebs against the air build. Oh no, brother. Brother, no. Yet another Inticity hater has been born. Oh my god. Everyone forgets the Dowie Air Force. Yep. So tough. I lost 2. I almost could have won with 0 losses, but 1 Dragonback got hit by, or 2 of them got hit by a trap. Rip. Oh boy. Yeah, I know. He chevroned the trebs. That's so sad. Oh god. This is what you mean, by the way, because then like people start really freaking out about what you might bring. Could play another friendly with him. I don't know if he wants to play against me again. Oh man. Anyways, this is the build. So the idea was if he brought flying units, I could kite them with these guys and maybe shoot them, but yeah. Oh man. Don't need a tryhard. This is a tryhard. This is tryhard mind games. One of the trebuchets did 100% of the kills. Those peasants, man. Oh boy. All right. Well, we'll wait for the other match to finish. I can show off. What was it? Ah, High Elf mirror match. Oh, this one was a quickie. This one was gross. So I basically brought a a melee max high elf build. He bought a single entity max. We're just gonna go over this real quick because yeah, take a look at this. So I went quad lion start. See these Reaver archers, 92 speed to their 82, but there's just not enough map to run away to. We get an amazing charge on his Storm Riders, Lothran Sea Guard. The Lions just cook them with their anti-infantry. And then his cavalry get caught because he ran out of space. You'd think you could summon in cavalry to try and counter this, but these guys are armor piercing, so they actually kind of crush cavalry. And on the far side, the Fireborn are just hounding down his skirmishers. This one was brutal. This one was absolutely brutal. Yeah, he loses all his skirmishers at the beginning, and the mobility max just crushes them. Then I just avoid his birds. But yeah, he does summon in a silver helm, immediately dies to these guys. Get an overcast tempest on all his birds, surround him, get the Altharian in there, and it's done for. It's completely done. He's army wiped 4 minutes in. Altharian does get a pretty good barrage though, but doesn't really matter. GG. That was a pretty fast one. But yeah, it turns out high elf mobility max is actually relatively scary even versus skirmishers. These guys do have a lot of missile resist. And it's actually going for full cavalry, I find, tends to punish skirmish play really hard. Any quad skirmish build without enough defenses will just get run over. It's a good one. Hobo Honkers got hobo honked. It was pretty brutal. It was a solid high elf day. So that match I played dwarves versus Bretonia, and the dwarves win. So now we wait for the winner of Attack Speed and Dr. Jellyfish. I guess that was a pretty fast replay. I can cast the one after that, which ended up being a game against Grand Cathay. Surprised to see Warlines cook against cavalry. Yeah, I was surprised too, but Charix really showed that they can legitimately cook. Did I miss war wagons? Actually, I haven't been able to bring war wagons yet today. Maybe if I did against Dark Elves, we would have won. But yeah, so take a look at this match. So it's the same mobility max. There's a bit of skirmishing at the beginning, nothing too crazy, right? Drawing his cavalry away. You can see how good those lions are versus Jade Lancers though. Although those are peasant horsemen, but take a look at this, right? So he tries to get his formation up. I brought a noble with the chariot. And he basically bought a spell ant build with the slow. Searing Doom, Plague of Rust, and Uranans. I find that when you do this, you don't have a lot of army left. We're going to be trying to make value out of that. Pretty good Searing Doom on the Ragara's Pride though. Looks like they do rout, but I do get a pretty nice charge on his face. And the big threat are the Grand Cannons. Can we actually defeat them? Well, it looks like the Noble gets in there. So Noble gets a pretty massive charge. He's pretty good because his damage is rather high. And you can see how quickly he just deletes one of the cannons. He then moves on to the next cannon. He's just munching away. Somehow the chariot kills cannons very quickly. In the meantime, Altharian ensures that we win any mobility fight. And then when Jade Lancers gets summoned in, because we've started out with lots of cavalry, he's gonna always be at a disadvantage, right? Unless he can make use of his infantry. But they're kind of just positioned really far out. Didn't want to get triple capped, which makes sense, but it's not the best of situations. Gets a Plague of Rust on the Fireborn and the slow, but they still crush Jade Lancers. Fireborn are beasts of combat. Tempest to kill the Crowman is perfect too. And the Noble routs off his Grand Cannons. I'm actually really liking the little Noble plays. I've been mixing them into my high elf builds a little bit more recently. Because they just kind of dominate. They're very fast at a baseline of 84 speed. They're a single entity. They're just good. And Altharian, of course, can heal up the cavalry. And then a second noble has arrived to start bullying these guys. He has 110 armor, so he barely takes any damage. And as long as we keep him moving, just look at that. They're just annoying. They're just super annoying. The oxen, nothing wrong. Yeah. The poor oxen. But yeah, anyways, there goes the artillery crew. Technically, the ox they're unbreakable, you know? They're very stalwart. But yeah, anyways, even though we have traded a lot of cavalry here, Altharian's Mistwalker Barrage, speak of the devil, just absolutely brutal. Of course, the terror is really nice too. This guy, he's still bouncing around. They never stop. And then with this final charge with the war lines, we're good. He does cast a spell, but the timing can be really hard to get working. And yeah, there we go. And this way you don't have to worry about your silver helms. You don't have to worry about the silver helms trying to punch through armor, because they really don't do very well. Just spam lions, man. Dude, the lions are so good. They're amazing. Now, I don't have that many units left. But here's the thing, right? With a little bit of a cleanup here, he brings in some Longma Riders, yes. But between the two nobles, you can basically kill off the rest of his army. And yeah, it's basically over. Especially with high HP Altharian. There's essentially nothing that can be done. As long as you don't get out-captured, but I have so much time on my hands. We'll be fine. There's the Lord. He gets killed. And then at this point, it's pretty clear, right? Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful lioning. Altharian is at like 3,000 value. Never mind. Only 2,000. Dang. Kind of surprised. These guys are sick though. Look at them. They're just so annoying. They just keep grinding. He does actually get a pretty nice pushback here. I am forced to summon some Shadow Warriors. So there's a little bit of back and forth. It's still over. As long as I recapture 1 point in the next few minutes, we'll be good. And with Altharian and the double noble, you can see how quickly this position gets collapsed, especially because there's no harmony. One of the big reasons why you want to run Tempest is to kill the Crowmen as fast as possible. Otherwise, they will provide ludicrous amounts of harmony. How much you get in the end? Only 2,000, dang. Anyways, yeah. I think this is playable for Cathay, though. It is a little spooky with the Tempests. But I think it's mostly playable. You might still be able to get some work done with the Moonbird action. I think they will have a bit of a hard time killing lions, though. Anything with anti-infantry. Like, anti-infantry mobility delete Crowmen so hard. That Cathay might not have an out. I kind of wonder if you can win with like a balloon. What if you go like double big balloon, double sky junk, and then you just kind of kite them with that? That could be pretty funny. But yeah. Rip Dark Age Rush. The other Cathay main falls to the might of the High Elves. And then after that, we got this Vampire Coast game. Is Attack Speed and Joris still playing? He's still playing, dang, alright. Splitting the army against Cav max builds is so risky. What's it? Splitting the... Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, hey, yeah, it is you, Maximilian. Yeah, so this game was against Maximilian. This is just a very favored matchup, by the way. And Maximilian was super tired last night because Turin hosts some pretty late tournaments. Anyways, this is a good showcase of like a standard high elf build against Vampire Coast. I did want to try the Phoenix again. Maximilian has been really liking these silver chevroned mortars lately. So I was like, why don't we try the Phoenix tech again? So they're very blobbed up, right? And you can just kind of spam out the bombs. I didn't do it perfectly. Phoenix can kind of be hard to get the bomb spam off with. But killing off one of these silver chevron mortars, the Phoenix, at the get-go is just a solid beginning to the match. Because otherwise, they do kind of brutalize your archers. Main fight begins fairly early. We did bring Burning Head and Flaming Sword, just in case he brought Sirens or something. But as you can see, the Phoenix is just such a pain. Now, he did heal up the mortars with some Nahek. I will need to bring a little bit of work in to deal with it. Gets a pretty good dodge too. Honestly, very well played by Maximilianer so far, along with Noctilus's very annoying zombie summons and disruption tools. They also make a bit of a misplay. Flamesire Phoenix gets caught by the Lamprey's Revenge, gets shotgunned, and loses a lot of HP. Not the best of situations for my poor Phoenix. Even micros forward to get a surround on him. Look at that sick play. And he just gets absolutely massacred. So while the Phoenix definitely had a good early game, it's still a little sus. Mortars are crumbling, but rather slowly. The damage is coming on out. So I did not play this game perfectly. We do have a bolt thrower finally to take out a couple of these mortars. It's gonna help out a little bit. But he's spamming out doggos to deal with my archers. Now, if you want to deal with the dog maxing, you basically just need to have one unit of cavalry constantly shadowing the dogs. Cavalry's at 80 speed when tired. You can go to 84. Dogs are 95 speed. As long as you're on the defensive, you should be able to catch them out. Not the biggest deal. He does get a zombie summon on my archers. Very annoying. But as you can see here, doggos, they can't really jump my backline. And as long as my archers continue to get work in, we're happy. Also, yeah, he's playing not vampire accounts. I was surprised too. See those zombie summons? Very annoying. They also last a very long time. But there we go. Lamprey's Revenge too are pretty spicy. Thankfully, Sisters of Avalorn are armor piercing, so they get a lot of work in there. Another bombardment though. And like I said, Maximilianer played this very well. We're actually behind on value right now. Though shutting down 1.5 of his mortars is a very nice start. Them Ever Queen's Court Guard definitely kind of suffering. Keeping the Reavers in the back line though is definitely helping out my archers. And these rallying archers are going to be very annoying for him in a little bit. Oinkle Haunter comes on in. But he doesn't really do too much. So I can mostly ignore him. And you can see these dogs still just kind of getting shouted by my cavalry. They do kind of make a big play though. Good charge on the Rangers, but they do get counter charge. Of course, we have Burning Heads too. But the most annoying thing for Vampire Coast is finishing off these guys. These archers are always such a pain in the butt. Because yeah, you can rout them once, but they come back with like 1/3 of their entities or half of their entities. Or even most of them in some situations. And then what are you supposed to do? You can't really rout them off a second time without your dogs. Your dogs are constantly harried by cavalry. And then your infantry just eats Burning Head for days. So even with a couple misplays on my end, I think the matchup is just brutal here. The matchup is just brutal. Looks like attack speed and Jory won his match, by the way. But yeah, all I gotta do is keep my dudes alive. Keep the archers alive, and then we should be fine. They should just farm a ton of value. The Rangers, of course, are doing great. And at this point, he's starting to run out of units. Now, there's a few things that he can try to come back here. And one of those strats is just getting the dogs in. Of course, I can't really do anything to Noctilus. But once those dogs disintegrate, Maximilianer actually makes a pretty sick play. He just keeps resummoning in dogs into the horizon. I do get some pretty nice Burning Heads. But with the dog overwhelming, I summon in the wrong unit and bring in an archer with light armor instead of cavalry. And he does actually manage to catch a pretty significant number of archers. You can see the dogs, they feast. You have to be super careful. If you screw this up, you're done for. You can see Doggo's getting loads of kills, massive cleanup. And now we only have a couple archers left. Thankfully, we were ahead enough from the early game where it's fine. He is completely out of mortars now. I do get a nasty Burning Head just right across his infantry. Honestly, the Burning Heads are just disgusting. And then, yeah, now there's basically nothing left. He's stuck on triple cap basically forever. What is this? I want them to get a land ship. The Necrofex Colossus is basically a land ship, right? Also, I really wonder if the Phoenix would have worked if he had more gun mobs at the beginning. Because I think it would just get shot to death, right? Anyways, it's very hard to come back here regardless. Does get a D-summon. He's still spamming out dogs, but I'm spamming out cavalry now. And then without loads of infantry, he's pretty done for. Which is why we focus on casting so many burning heads on them. I'm just stopping him from recapturing points. GG. Alright, so we got a game against attack speed enjoyer. Here we go. Let's get it done. It was mortars, by the way. One of them got 1,000 value. Look at that. Alright. So attack speed enjoyer doesn't have time for a best of 3. Best of 1, totally fine though, because we gotta cover our high elf games anyways. So let's get it underway. Attack speed enjoyer. Fan of the Wood Elves. Am I gonna play Bretonia into his Wood Elves again? Maybe not. You know, I could just try to counter the Wood Elves with like some odd build, but if we're tryharding, I should stick to what I know. Let's see here. Okay, I want to go with that. I want to do this. Yeah, attack speed enjoyer. He had prior commitments. What a ripoff. So I went high elves and wood elves. He went wood elves and beastmen. But what is the final faction that I would want to play against wood elves? Because we knew he was going to run wood elves. But what is the last faction? What is the best faction against them? Do I go Bretonia again? Do I really just go Bretonia again? I could just go Bretonia again, but he's gonna force it. Thing is, I don't really have any other good options. Crap, should have gone Kislev. Well, there we go. So Wood Elves, Beastmen, and Ogre Kingdoms. I could play against his Beastmen with High Elves, Wood Elves, and Bretonia, though. That's actually not too bad. So I'll get rid of his Ogre Kingdoms to start. My Warriors of Chaos is kind of even with attack speed enjoyers Wood Elves. Dang, no war wagons today. The thumbnail lied. The thumbnail lied. Kind of shows that like my empire kind of needs a little bit of work. Maybe I'll get an SFT with them. And then, unfortunately today I won't be able to do an Elite Dark Elf build, but I will get there eventually. We will redeem that donation. Let's see here. So, what, do I want to play High Elves against Beastmen? It's probably not the worst. Probably not the worst. Let's do this, though. Wood Elves versus Wood Elves. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So Wood Elves versus Wood Elves. I should be able to win this just by playing well. It's gonna be very interesting though. You despise playing against Wood Elves? They're pretty spooky indeed. I think what we want to do is probably some sort of build that looks like this. Let's see here. Oh, this will be real interesting. I wonder if he has like some forbidden tech that I'm unaware of. He bans Urkund. Okay. Let's play Oasis. Lord-wise, your options are pretty limited. Melee maxing Wood Elves again. That'd be pretty funny. What do we want? I know generally what I want to go for. It's actually making the build that's a little bit more, just a wee bit more sus. Orion? No, Orion's gonna get pin cushioned. I think it's either Drychar, Glade Lord, or Spellweaver. I think those are the most meta ones that you can take. I think this is a good start. And then we can run this, which is also amazing. And then I can run a bunch of these guys. Is there an easy way you can get Terror in the Wood Elf mirror? Anything but Hawk Riders, yep. Anything but Hawk Riders. That's a good start. Max Treeman build. I wish Treeman had like 50% missile resist. If Fimir can have 50%, why not Treeman? I guess they have the physical resist, but it only goes up to 35% on non-magic attacks. Come on, they're a tree. They should be indestructible. Alright, so yeah, how do we want to do this? I think I just want, yeah, just whack a load of that. And then whack a load of this. Build really does just make itself. Is it good enough though? Is it good enough? You know what I kind of want? Actually, this unit. It'll seem insane, but you guys will see the method to the madness once we get into the match. I assure you there is a method to the madness. Okay. So let's see. How does one win a Wood Elf mirror match? This comes down to a lot of micro. If you don't go Zotes, you're a coward. I promised that I would go Tryhard in my requests. If I don't win today, I don't even think it's completed. Is it really full sweat if we don't win the tournament? Oh boy. If I can beat attack speed enjoyers Wood Elves, that's a pretty good sign. Full Giant Slayer plus Quarreler. War Wagons equals easy. Yeah, I wish I was able to get some War Wagon games in. Also, did not get that Dark Elf thing in eventually. Elite Dark Elf with Hydras. Oh boy. I gotta make it to semis more often to actually get those requests done. Yeah, we're gonna win it, Caraft here. We're gonna win it. I don't have the notification ring for Twitch donations on. I thought I did. Everyone knows trees win this matchup. If attack speed enjoyer beats me with tree maxing, I would be very surprised. You never know though. Full on tree max, that would be insane. Crazy. Sweat City or Meme City? We don't know yet. Dryads are OP. Dryads are certainly very strong. He's ready. Oh boy, he ready. Alright, let's see this. So I just went to normal kite build, guys. I'm not gonna tree max versus attack speed enjoyer. That's an insta loss. This is the one. This is the one where we lock in. We're gonna lock in, and then after this I'll cast the rest of the high elf games, and then we'll call it a day. Ghost maxing. The dread ghost max at some point. At some point I'll get that done. But yeah, we're just gonna do a normal kite. Attack speed enjoyer likes his mass infantry styles. I actually don't see him kite very often, so I feel like with us going for a kite build against his infantry max, we should be okay. Only 9 units though, kinda sus. Very mildly sus. So here's the plan, right? I'm gonna scout him out with the branch rate. We're gonna hard deploy here. Ready, good luck, have fun. I don't think he's full rushing me, right? If he's full rushing, I retreat immediately. I don't think so, though. If he is, I do have a lot of cavalry here. One dryad to blob him up a bit. Why does he have 9 units, though? Either he's full kiting or he is actually going to full rush me. I do have a bird, by the way. The Great Eagle is in case he goes for his own type of kite build, I can use it to spot his units. Isn't there cavalry with terror? There is. The Sylvan Knights. They'll die to the Wild Hunters, though. I guess that is more or less my only magic damage, however, so we have to be a little careful. Interesting. Looks like he deployed far away. That's a good start. I'll take that. His lord is just a flock of doomer. Not a big deal. So the idea here is I just gotta spot his forces early on and figure out what we're working with. Because as it stands, we don't really see much, do we? Looks like he does have a little dude in there, though. Poking away, being annoying. Yeah, there he is. Waystalker. And yes, it is a cab max. Okay. So this is where we want to back it up. Want to back it up to our defensive point. Because he is going for me. Dryad can get an early pickings on his cav core. That's fine by me. We're going to just pull over here, right? Make it look like we're playing nice and defensively. Wild Rider shields, okay. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. So this should be at least a fairly decent volley at the get-go. Going to get a little bit of nibbling on him. Dryad just being annoying. Just gonna get on top of this Dryad summon, which is not very comfortable for him. Okay. Then we're going to try and get some surrounds here. Now, there he goes. He's blitzing on in. But can I get enough cavalry here? We're gonna get some pretty nasty counter charges at least. But will it be enough? Will it be enough? Gonna stop those wild riders. We're gonna get some archers actually. And we're just going to pull back, turn on fire at will, and then hope for the best. He's cav maxing me, but he's kind of botching the charge, right? This branch wraith is having the time of its life. Let's get that Melkoth's in there. Wild Rider surrounds, gonna be a little painful, but otherwise not too bad. Those archers are a little bit vulnerable, but it seems like most of my Deepwood scouts have managed to survive. So now all I really gotta do is just win these cav engagements, and then we're mostly fine, I think. Value trading says it's in my favor. Love to see it. Cav fight's going pretty well over there. This is Waystalker's being super annoying. He's just being super annoying. Gets a pretty nice flock of doom on me. But he's really starting to lose on his cavalry now, right? He just doesn't really have too much. Dryad's getting in there. I don't know how I feel about the Dryad. It's doing all right, I guess. But yeah, I think we've weathered the storm. I believe we've weathered the storm. It should be rather difficult to come back here. Even the Dryad's kind of doing not bad in the fight against that dude. He's doing not the worst. Whoop. Let's get over there. Okay. He's almost out of units, I think. And then I can help out the Dryad too. The little Dryad that could. Very nice. Look at that. We're gonna, yeah, net the Sisters of Thorn. I don't want to deal with them. There we go. His Waystalker's almost dead. If he had one more unit of cav instead of the Waystalker, that might have actually done me in. An interesting thought indeed. That should be a pretty nice volley over there. He captures one of my points. That's okay. Come on. Thank goodness I didn't start with 5 of these guys. It would be so boned. All right. Almost have a Glade Rider summon in soon. That'll be huge. Come on. Come on. And there we go. There we go. Glade Rider summon is in. Gets a little bit of a heal. Doesn't matter. Waystalker's going down. And now he's army wiped. I think we got him. I think we got him, baby. It's all about playing ultra defensive. It's all about playing ultra defensive when you see that they're gonna full rush you. You just can't really afford to let yourself get rushed down. Oh my gosh, what a brutal fight, though. And of course, there's the rest of the match that we gotta work our way through. These guys are running for the hills, though. And I could probably kill off his lord, too. Dang. What a match. Glade Rider screening was huge, yeah. They did a good job. Those Sisters of Thorn. Oh, they got the Loic's Blessing. They got the Loic's Blessing. They're gonna play keep away, but I have a net. Yes. The net, if even one entity is in range, the net will be able to hit. That's kind of how most abilities work for targeting infantry. So that helped us out a ton. And that's going to catch that cavalry. And now we can make a big advantage play out of that. Those are Deepwood scouts. We're going to back up from them. As soon as we get his lord, though, I should be okay. I still have a skirmisher advantage. Very nice. And I can just slowly take these points. Slowly but surely. Let's see here. Let's turn off fire at will, too. Just to make sure that we get our big juicy shots off. Should be able to just get a wild rider on these guys. There's a slow Reno on those wild riders too. Having Malcots working out pretty well for us. Look at that. Sisters of Thorn. Should be off the battlefield. Oh, dang. He routed off my branch rate, though. Kind of sad to see. He's out of units, though, right? He has 5 units on the battlefield. Unless he has a million of these Deepwood Scouts, I should be fine. Let's not throw, though. Always be careful not to throw. That should be a pretty good charge and catch of his cavalry. He sacrifices them to try and save the Deepwood Scouts, but he doesn't really get very much out of that. His caster is still alive, though. I think I mismicroed the single entity. Single entities over there, just a wee bit. More Wild Riders incoming, too. Gotta be a little wary. That's a good route, at least. Big old collapsing route, and he taps out. Success! We successfully sweat lorded it. Oh my gosh, it's finally done. All right, full sweat worked. A sketchy game, to be sure, but yeah, he went for max Wild Riders and then just got screened out by my dudes. The Deepwood Scouts managed to get a lot of shooting off, but the biggest thing is playing defensively and being able to summon directly on top of his cavalry. Thank goodness. And not overextending. Branch rate did pretty good. Lord nets were very nice. GG, well played. Whew. My caster routed themselves with the miscast. Oh my goodness. Anyways, yeah, that was interesting. I kind of like that one. I'm surprised that we were able to hold against, what, 7 Wild Riders with only 5 units of cavalry. But I guess that defensive play is just so good. We did it. We won. After many years, I've won. There's Wood Elves, there's Wood Elves. And I will be casting the rest of my High Elf games. And then after that, we'll call it a day. Look at that. Yo, that was spooky. Spooky. Does that mean I'm back on number 1 on the leaderboard? Let me check. Hell yeah! We're number 1 again! Took me a hot second. Yeah, so these were the last 2 games. These were the ones that Turin cast. Take a look. This is the one where the Swordmasters did super well. I don't think Turin showed off the value on one of them. I think one of them got almost 2k value. This one's a quick one. So this was my game against Nurgle. I suspected that Nurgle was going to be worried that I'd kite. So I thought it'd be real funny if I just went full melee, basically. Because what Nurgle player is going to bring, like, Chosen or something to deal with Swordmasters, right? Or what Nurgle player is going to go for frogs? So I bait him forwards by hiding my elite units in the forest, and then we move on out. We play keep away with the Rangers. Forsaken are faster, but I just wanted that flanking position for these Swordmasters. And then, of course, Spirit Leech doesn't do anything to Altarian. And once again, I have the double Noble. I feel like these guys would be so hype if they had the mass to push through units. Because they have 35 bonus versus large, but what can you do? The Altarian Barrage. Very terrifying for this Nurgle Sorcerer. And then, of course, we don't want to fight the Forsaken as much as we can. I want to just send in the Lions, right? So you can see here, these Swordmasters. They got a charge bonus increase. So they do quite a bit to the Forsaken. And then we get the the cat flank. The Cato flank. And this is looking pretty good so far, right? Although, maybe not. Technically, value is really far behind, but it's all on Eltharion, so I don't think it's actually as bad as one might expect. I know Turin, like, and in the game, I also thought I was behind, but it's all on Eltharion, man. And he's healing. We're actually healing more than Nurgle here, so do not be afraid. The Sword Masters will cleave through. White Lions versus Pestigores. In theory, they have much better stats. These guys are cheaper though. Don't really know who's coming out on top. 300 value to 345. So actually fairly similar trading, which is why you need them sword masters. Look at them go, chopping up some marauders. Really like the double noble too. I kind of wonder what would have happened if he brought Kaiserkin. It probably still would have gone very similarly, right? It's just my infantry would have won. Because it's not like you can really do much to stop my infantry from crushing it here. But yeah, the sword masters are sick. Okay, this one already has 99 kills, man. Then of course Eltharion provides terror. He stops single entities from really getting on in. And yeah, he gets another spirit leech, which is a lot of value. But value on Eltharion doesn't mean that much. Then again, I'm also getting a lot of value on his lord. Oh, look at these guys. So they have 49 melee defense with their rank up fighting these units. 49 melee defense against these Pestigores. Their HP hasn't actually dropped. It's barely going down. There we go. They got one hit. That's kind of insane. Is he miss-targeting? These guys are not getting hit. I think he has some like... Yeah, no, it's the melee attack just sucks that bad. Dude, the melee defense is insane on these guys. Look at that. So great weapon infantry do so badly against high melee defense. And the sword masters are really showing that. Just grinding and grinding forever. While the rest of his army is just getting massacred. These ones also barely taking any damage to these Pestigores. And then at this point we just sniped the Soul Grinder. Now our sword master is actually good. No. Had he saved his magic and just Buna'd all my sword masters instead of spirit leeching Eltharion, I think he could have won. In the end, this is quite the meme build. And I think a kite game would have done better, even better into Nurgle. But it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick to see that in the right circumstances, sword masters can actually cook really hard. You just have to send them into mid-tier infantry. Melee defense enjoyer. Yeah, look at these guys. 18 hundo and 1200 value on them. Oh my gosh. He did Buna the Sisters of Avalorn though, but rather insane value. Rather insane. So that's a pretty good matchup for the High Elves. What about a bad matchup? Take a look at this. So inspired by Danican's Dreadlord on a dragon, I brought a Dread Princess on a dragon. So here's the rough idea. How'd the White Lions end up doing? Only okay. The White Lions were way less exciting than the Sword Masters. I think they got like probably 600 value if I remember from yesterday. But yeah, from what I learned, Khorne kind of sucks at killing single entities. And what better single entity than a Star Dragon? So look at this. They got that spicy breath attack. I didn't land the best breath attacks this game. I kind of wanted to get nets and breaths. But he didn't go for armor Khorne. He went for Marauder Khorne Gore. But this lady has 64 melee attack, 50 melee defense. Compare that to Valkia, who has very similar stats, but here's the problem. Valkia has 5,600 HP. This lady has almost 10,000 HP. Also, that ability's kind of jokes. How much value does it get? It costs like, what, 100? Oh, dang, you know what? For an early game, just easy 141 value, that's not too bad. It killed, something. Someone died. Just a horseman. But yeah, this thing's kind of fun. You just kind of spam it out. It'll get you its money back. Now, this might have seemed like a waste of a breath attack on some basic marauders, but I suspected he was probably going to rush me, my opponent, because I had my Sisters of Avalorn here. So knowing that, I was like, okay, I got to get value as fast as possible. So I'm just going to chuck out my breath attacks wherever I can, because the fewer marauders there are in the midst of my army, the more I can make use of my cavalry, my archers, my infantry. I just get a lot more space to maneuver. Get another breath attack on them marauders. Not the best breath attack. These dragons don't, I think the fire breath attack is slightly better, but anyways. We do get one route, which is very good early on. And now he goes in for the big push. Now this is pretty scary, right? This is why we don't bring that much money worth of ranged. There's always a risk where you take too much range and you just get overrun. Even on the defensive, it's not too helpful. But I have a plan. The Mage of Light is hiding in the forest. She has exorcism. So when I face his corn dogs, we'll have magic damage, punch through the physical resist. And then we have the net. The net is super important for making sure that the skull crushers can't play keep away. We know that the dragons do 1,000,000 damage. This is 580 damage armor piercing, 520 armor piercing damage. And we know these single entities do great versus these guys. The Sisters of Avalorn, yes, they might get massacred. But in the end, their job was just to bait my opponent into taking this early engagement, right? And it's not the best engagement either. As you can see, we have a Skull Crusher pick, right? He's kind of playing on my side of the battlefield. And of course, Valkia can't really kill this princess. Her DPS is just a little too low at only 440 AP. So at this point, I know what I gotta do, right? All I really have to do is finish off this last Skull Crusher, and then the game's basically over. Because I'll have 2 dragons, and all he'll have is Valkia, right? So, breath attacks abound. This is where the breath attacks come in clutch. Just melting down their HP. And then I got the War Lions to counter that armor, because I knew he was going to have armor. And then it's basically over. Because here's the thing, right? Khorne might have the best infantry. But all you really need to win a close game in trading is to have them Gigantor single entities. And man is a princess height. Still has 48 melee attack, 50 melee defense. But that damage is where it's really at. She hits harder than a giant on this dragon. It's insane. She's barely taken any HP damage. And I know these guys are anti-infantry. So with their stat debuff in the forest, they will also not be able to really hit her. And they get routed off very quickly. Very, very nice. I'm surprised Attorney that small counts to the leaderboard. I think 8 is the minimum amount you need to count to the leaderboard. I believe 8 is the minimum. That was established back when we didn't have so many players, but suddenly we got tons of players. Giant has... Oh, Giant does like 700 damage? Never mind. She's close, though. She's close. Not quite, though. Not quite. But anyways. At this point, it's just Monstrous Infantry. Monstrous Infantry are a little spooky, though. That Shem's completely whiffed, but it does give my guys some extra leadership, ITP, and magic attacks. Which can sometimes be useful. This breath attack is hype, by the way. I think breath attacks are the big playmakers. If you get really good at breath attacks, I think you can just crush it in this game. But yeah, kind of a unconventional build. Khorne can be really scary for the high elves because their mobility can just be so powerful. But like, what is he gonna do, right? Run a Bloodthirster against us? Impossible. I actually don't really know what they're supposed to do. Because if they run a bunch of warriors, it's just gonna get netted and breath attacked, right? If he runs a Bloodthirster, I'm pretty sure a net breath attack combo just kills it. Especially because I have a noble too. Khorne at most can run like 3 proper single entities. Skull Taker would get breath attacked. I was hoping he was gonna run Skull Taker actually, so I could volley of arrows, Dragon's Breath, and net him. But it was Valkia instead. Yeah, Chariots wouldn't do too well because of the nets. I don't know. But maybe they can pull off a stall strat. Human Boy did a video about dragon breaths and which target / position to use them. Hey, nice. Also, yo, these Minotaurs got so much value. I believe they got to 2k almost, yeah. The Minotaurs are beastly, man. Minotaurs of Khorne do so much damage. They are pretty easy to rout, but he gets a relentless rage. Kind of crazy. But as you can see, Valkia just doesn't really cook versus dragon. I don't know what it is about Valkia. She like gets staggered a lot and pushed around, so she doesn't actually attack very often. Is she gonna attack? Yeah, see how she's kind of being janky, right? Yeah, she's getting staggered a lot. Gets one attack in, but her DPS just isn't enough. I don't know. I'm personally not the biggest fan of Valkia. She's decent if your opponent has like one single entity. In this case, though, she gets absolutely mulched. Game's basically over. We have a value lead, lots of tickets. Still have 2 dragons, and Valkia goes down. And just like that, we fairly decisively beat Khorne with the high elves. She does really badly in this round. It's hilarious because of her trailer, but yeah, I would honestly recommend going more dragons. I think the dragons are just sick. Yeah, yo, CA, their code, however they do the physics in this game, it really screws over foot characters. They can never seem to get into the fight that they want to. But yeah, as you can see, it was mostly just killing off the elite cavalry early on. I do wonder how it would have done versus Mantide. I did have a backup Swordmaster of Hoa to deal with mass armor. The biggest thing was just winning that big engagement. I think the scariest thing he could have run would be like a lot of Minotaurs instead of cavalry. But that, of course, does really badly versus Kite, which most people expect out of me. So you love to see it. Tournament win last night. Tournament win today. Feeling good. Feeling like we got some Imric. Imric's pretty jokes because he also negates fire damage. That's pretty true. But yeah, I'm back in action, people. We're cooking once again. Now tomorrow, maybe I won't host a tournament right away because it seems like there's been too much supply for the demand. So we'll leave tomorrow open. If someone else wants to host a tourney, maybe I'll join it. Instead, maybe I'll play a campaign again.
Sigma's will.
Does anyone want to see a sick campaign? Yo, what crazy shenanigans do you want to see? Take a pick. You can decide the future of content now. I think there were actually some suggestions earlier. Let me see. Where is it at? You want to see a ghost only? You want to see a ghost only campaign? Green giant only campaign? Slayers only. I feel like that one's been done a lot. Squigs only. Hammer only. Hammer only is hilarious. So you're only allowed to use hammerers, the sky hammer, the I forget, but there's not that many hammers.
Take me to my doom.
Beastmen Warhammer 3 DLC units only. Demons only, but that's just malice for Dark Elves. Let's see here. Only catapults. Let's see here. What else? What is there? I feel like the campaigns have been getting so easy. Harder to find challenges. Grim Warden, Miss Stalker only. Something old school, like a Warhammer 1 Legendary Lord. So like a sick lizardman thing we can do. White hair only. Let's see.
My blade is ready. What?
For Bretonia, you seek prophecy.
Hungry ogres. Medusas. Skaven slave clan molder. Just Master Mundi and Croak. Let's see here. A melee Skaven.
No one.
Melee Skaven's always a fun one. Let's see. I feel like there's gotta be one here that really speaks to me. There's gotta be one in here.
I cannot be stopped.
Only I keep chaos at bay.
No elf. Tree only. Go with like the Dirthu. No Cavtonia, Grom, Goblins. Scurvy dogs only. I feel like I remember doing dogs only. It was actually pretty fun. Seems like you guys are leaning towards melee on ranged factions. So I'm thinking I could do a doggo coast. Could do a doggo coast strat.
Madam Captain.
How the dread fleet.
Maybe. No dwarf. Do they even have anything in the roster that's non-dwarves? You'd have to play Chaos Dwarves then, right? Yo, melee coast would kind of be fun.
The vampire coast is all mine.
A Skaven dog only. I did do that before in the way back when. It's still good content though. Let's see here. I could do Beastmen dogs only. Big crab stack. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Slanesh ranged only. This is the only Marauder horseman. Alright, you know what? I think we go back to Empire. Ranged only Empire. Or melee only Empire. That's the vote. If it's close, I'll bring it to Twitch. Ranged only corn. Yeah, I feel like this would be strong enough where you can get some work in. Oh, it actually is pretty close. Okay. Okay, what do you want, Twitch? What do you want? What to play? Ranged only Empire. Melee only Empire. Dang, the vote's so close. Ranged plus no cavalry. Well, yeah, of course. Or are you saying just like only infantry ranged? Just full gunpowder it? Yo, Twitch is also pretty close. It seems like melee Empire is slightly winning on both fronts though. Yeah, I think a melee only Empire it is. All right. By a very slim margin, Chad melee build time. All right. So, yeah, we'd be Empire. I'll have to figure out who I actually want to play with. Most of the melee units are pretty garbo. Melee only, but just range units in melee mode? Please, no. Who would even be the best guy? I'm not gonna go Volkmar Flagellant spam. That's just boring, right?
One day, all
I feel like Elspeth would be the most funny. Because I can't use any of her buffs. I feel like Elspeth would definitely be the most funny.
Never.
The Empire needs
And then just see what we can get done with her.
The monsters
Or Marcus
shall be
Wolfhart.
slain.
I feel like Marcus Wolfhart would be more masochistic. Should be fun. Franz for the great swords. Melee Gelt. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't be allowed to use magic, so no magic. I think it makes the most sense to do that. Anyways, I'll put a... Actually, you know what? I'll put it to a vote. Marcus, Elspeth. So we're not allowed to use magic, so no Gelt.
I am Prince and Emperor.
I'll put Franz in. I think Franz is probably too easy. So only vote Franz if you don't want your vote to count. Unless a lot of people vote Franz, but I feel like the most masochistic is probably Marcus.
Never waver.
You really want me to do another Franz campaign? You guys are crazy. All right, maybe we do play Franz. Sounds like you want to make yourself suffer. That is the point. Okay, Marcus is now taking the lead. Okay, so it looks like it will be Marcus. Marcus with no range units. He is a range unit, but I can go melee mode with him. We're gonna be stuck in Lustria, which is certainly very painful. Should be fun. The vote is not close. Sorry, Twitch. We won't be involving you today. Well, there we go. Let's see how it goes. I am going to take myself a solid breakaroo. Tomorrow we're going to be streaming some campaign. Should be fun. Maybe I'll get some editing done today. Hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful stream day today. I certainly had a lot of fun. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much too to our supporters. Clint, Terry Tarkleby, Pops, Miss New Booty, Calculandia, Charlie, and Benjo. And of course, San Q for the 1,000 what is it? Currency. It was Turkish lira. My first Turkish lira, and you gave so much. Thank you very much. I'll get that Dark Elf game on Thursday.